Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by DrRoto.com.
Oh my goodness, it's that time of year again. We are closing the door on baseball, no matter what Lou has to say about it, because darn it, it's football season, baby. And we are back with season 5, the 5th annual Dr. Roto Staff PPR League. This year expanding to 14 teams because there's so much talent at this website, Jason, that we couldn't hold them all out of there. What do you think about that?
Oh, I absolutely agree. Awesome to have Lou here. When him and Doc start talking baseball, it's like another language to me, the way they break it down. We've got such a stellar staff here, obviously starting with the guy who built it all, Dr. Roto. And what I love about Doc building the team is that it's not just the talent. I mean, there's talented people all over this industry, all over the country, but Doc finds guys with his type of personality, just good dudes, man, and guys that you want to hang out with. And so we've got the knowledge, we've got the personalities, we've got the energy, definitely with Heat coming on probably a little bit later. The energy is definitely not lacking. So this is the only league I play in because it's the one I look forward to. Even if I lose a game, it's fun because the smack talk's not personal. It's just more like, just that little nudging you give your brother or something like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been reading everybody's articles at the site. The staff is so well informed. Opinions vary, but it's always backed up by those nuggets of information, not going to get anywhere else. And so I'm excited. 14 teams. We should call it the Sniper League because every year I'm in it. Someone always snipes me in this league more than anybody else. So we know each other's opinions are thereabouts. And so you have to kind of, with a 14 team, you might have to reach a little bit to get that guy that you're really fully committed on.
Well, I invited Lou into this league because I figure he's still about 98% in baseball mode, and maybe he'll make a few mistakes. That is my hope. We talked a little bit, Lou, how frustrating it is on these fantasy apps that as soon as like July 4th turns, they just bury fantasy baseball off to the side.
Well, Sirius is a perfect example of that, right? I mean, I lost my weekly gig with Doc, as Jason was alluding to. It goes from a little bit of everything to football, and it's that time of year. So bring it on. Let's I'm pumped to get this thing rolling.
Our first comment of the show comes from Mr. Heat Override saying he's heading home from karate. Don't worry, he'll be here soon.
That's the most Heat thing he could say. Karate, working in movies. I mean, he is packed full of energy. You're never going to have a segment where he doesn't have his big personality and smile on full display. So he's always a welcome addition to the show. Hurry up, get home from karate, and let's chop it up. No pun intended.
If you all are tuning in, I'm sorry. I did hijack Doc's Twitter feed. I did. But Doc's not here tonight. But I tell you what, he's going to be live on Sirius XM starting in about 2 hours. We're going to send him this draft board as we get it going. He'll talk about it on there. If you have questions for us right here, Lou and Jason, myself, and any of the other people who are on here, you feel free to drop them in any of the chats. We will address them as best we can as we go. And obviously, you got to get on over to drroto.com. You got to sign up. Not only do we have amazing articles from the best in the biz, but we have a absolutely live and rockin' Discord channel that rocks all year long. We're always there answering questions. It's really getting fired up right now. And don't forget, Sunday mornings during football season, we got live start sit with Doc and myself and Lou usually.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll probably be there this year. And yeah, just to piggyback off both of you guys, we got probably our deepest draft guide we've had in years at the website. Just articles going up every single day. A lot from our boy Jayson Braddock here. Literally previewed every single team in the league and so in depth. I mean, there's guys I wasn't even remotely thinking about when reading his articles, and boom, they are there. So you will learn a lot from those. And of course, we have our rankings, and we have one cheat sheet out now and another updated one, I believe, in the next week or so for those starting their drafts in a week. So everything you possibly want for fantasy football, it is there. Go check that out.
Hey, Lou, do you guys know who's making the most money in our Discord right now? Do you have any idea?
Who was that?
Yeah.
Our guy
Fuego.
WNBA picks live in our Discord. I'm telling you,
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
can't be beat.
Fuego is on Fuego.
Yes, he is.
Nice.
Yeah.
WNBA absolutely
Lou-
cleaning up the DFS.
Lou mentioned the rankings there. And, I love putting out content. All of our writers love putting out content. If you're behind a paywall, you want it to be worth it for the readers, the listeners who are on radio. So we're always trying to bring you something different, something fresh, and always keep you up to date, as there's so many ebbs and flows, especially throughout the off season and the preseason as we go into draft season. It's always constantly updated. We don't want to put something out there a month later, it's already outdated. So we're staying up on it. And probably one of the best kept secrets, if I can still say that, is a guy I've known for probably about 7-8 years now, Chris Kennedy. Love this dude, not only his personality, but literally I will put his rankings up against anybody in the country when it comes to fantasy football. So it's awesome to get back, and hopefully we can get Kennedy to pop on. I know he keeps a busy schedule, but great dude. I'm going to keep hashing on that with all the great people we have here, but also the talent as well. Check out not only Doc's rankings, but Chris Kennedy's rankings. Anything you want at the site, it's there. We're going to talk fantasy football, but they've got you covered: hockey, baseball, basketball, everything at drroto.com.
Hey, I throw a few golf picks out there. Just got
There you go. The golf picks. I knew I was going to leave something out. Danger's going to hold me true. So I appreciate
Something
that.
Tipsy.
something tipsy.
Nice.
Tipsy. All right, guys, we got about 15 minutes till we go live with this. Let's talk about draft order in a 14-team league. Jason, I got randomized to number 14. Not my favorite spot in a 14-teamer. However, as the primary host today, much easier to wait for two in a row. So I'm okay with it. Where do you like to be?
I kind of like where you're at. More so in a 12-team league where maybe you can get an Ashton Genty to fall to you and turn around and go again if you want to go running back, or running back receiver, because we know
Jason,
the fall
Jason,
off.
Genty's not getting past 1-8.
Oh wow. Well, I don't think he gets past.
If he even gets there, he's not getting past. He ain't getting
Nothing
past
tipped
1-8.
my hand, but I don't think he gets past pick 5.
Yeah, I would imagine. But I'll take Lamb or Brian Thomas Jr. It's fine.
Okay.
Either
Are
one.
you worried any bit about the chemistry with Brian Thomas Jr. and Trevor Lawrence? I think Trevor Lawrence has a big year. Liam Cohen coming over there probably have that type of turnaround to the season. Look, the parallel's so similar with Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, both former number 1 overall picks in the NFL draft. Both kind of had up and downs, and they had either breakout in their second or third seasons that almost exactly parallel with like 25, 26 touchdowns, same amount of interceptions. Then they dipped down for 2 years before Baker had his resurgence there in Tampa, first with Dave Canales, now the Panthers head coach, now with Liam Cohen. He just has a monster year last year, 4,500 pass yards. And I'm expecting that from Trevor Lawrence, but I haven't been in love with what the chemistry or lack thereof has been between Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. It is a small sample size, but I'd like to get y'all's thoughts on that.
Yeah, Lou, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I kind of just look at last year, Jason, and they didn't have Liam Cohen and Brian Thomas Jr. Maybe he didn't shock you. I mean, you know the AFC South as well as anybody. So I'm not going to try to know as much as you, because I never will, about that division. But Brian Thomas Jr. was one of the biggest surprises to me as a rookie wide receiver. I think him and Trevor will be just fine. I think the key really is Trevor's being healthy.
True. Absolutely.
No, I agree.
I don't think it's a question. LSU is now wide receiver U. If you told me Brian Thomas Jr. grows in year 2 and Malik Neighbors gets the toe issue, doesn't become an issue throughout the season, or the shoulder injury or anything else that he's been dealing with, you could literally make a case. 1, 2, 3, and 4 wide receivers that might be the most fantasy relevant this year might all be LSU guys. You know, you got Jamar Chase, you got Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr. They're right there in that discussion.
They are. And you know what? That's why I don't like drafting where I am, because there's 5 guys I would take a 1A.
Nice.
You know, I would like the decision to be made for me almost, like at 111 or 112. I'll
Yeah.
take the best guy and then get another guy right away. Whereas at 8, I'm gonna have. I mean, I can't not complaining. There's great players to choose from, but
Sure.
I have to pick one when I could get one I like just as much 3 picks later. So you know, it starts to add up as the rounds go along. But you know, like if you weren't on my boy Ashton, you know, it would be easy. But
Right.
after that, I mean, there's easily 5 guys I would take at 1A.
Absolutely.
Love it. Hey, let's stay right there in Jacksonville. Week 10, who is leading that backfield, Jason?
I'm in the camp. I think they drafted 2 rookies in Michelle Tootin and LaQuint Allen Jr. that complement Tank Bigsby so perfectly that I think they could actually move Trevor Etienne Jr. Now, you don't have to, because we saw what Liam Cohen did last year. Both Bucky Irvin and also Rashad White each had over 45 plus catches. Catches. The wide receiver core is definitely thin in Jacksonville. I think our own Cam, did a great write up on Diami Brown being a sneaky sleeper there. Completely agree with him on that. I'd also say Parker Washington. I think Parker Washington could be that wide receiver too, because Travis Hunter playing on both sides of the ball maybe becomes Shohei Ohtani, but he will not be that. Just like Shohei Ohtani in baseball wasn't that year one. It took him a couple years. I expect the same for Travis Hunter. And as much love as we have for Travis Hunter, and the talent's definitely evident, he still needs polish on both sides of the ball. You don't get that when you're splitting time, part-time, both sides as a rookie. So I think Parker Washington, like Cam wrote on the site, go check it out, talking about Diami Brown. I think he has a great year as well, too. But I'm really in on Parker Washington.
Jason, I know it's a different team, different personnel, but Liam Cohen was able to get 3 running backs involved. I mean, Sean Tucker had some monster weeks last year, too.
Sean Tucker is a guy I'm completely in on this year. I think Tucker has a better rushing season, not receiving, but rushing season than Rashad White. Rashad's always
100%.
been mostly mediocre as a running back as far as a rusher first. He's always had the dynamic there as that in the receiving role. But Sean Tucker will be the second most productive rusher out of that.
Are you in on Tucker regardless of if you have Bucky Irving? Because if I have Bucky Irving, I'm making Tucker a priority around the time he's going. If I don't have Bucky Irving, not that I don't want Tucker, but I'm not nearly as interested. But to me, that's something I need, because if something were to happen to Bucky, you know it's going to be Tucker. Rashad White's just going to keep his role. He's not going to bump up to the number 1.
Yeah, so I don't have to have Bucky Irving. I'm finally going solo on Sean Tucker, because once we've talked about it plenty, there's such a drop off after that top tier of running backs. Then you got to kind of find guys that you're in love with. The Jets backfield is puzzling to me, kind of tied into that Bucks backfield, because I thought, based off of college film and what we saw as rookie season, I thought the 5th round rookie Isaiah Davis looked like a better fit than Braylon Allen. And I wasn't as high on Braylon Allen. Now, it's been a small sample size. I will continue to say that, but Braylon looks more streamlined. So that's why I'm saying we always have to stay up to date with all the ebbs and flows throughout the preseason heading up to the season, because Braylon Allen looks like a different back to me this year. So I'm going to have to go back and eat a little bit of my words, because I thought Isaiah Davis would be more involved in the opportunity to push for that number 2 back role, but Braylon looks streamlined. I don't want to call it baby fat, because the guy's always been bulked up, but so I'll go with streamlined. I like what I see from Braylon Allen. I would say stock up for me personally for Braylon Allen, and they've got definitely a complete backfield there with the Jets.
Absolutely. Hey, if any of the staff members that are not in the green room are trying to get in, we are unfortunately at our cap. So what I'm going to ask my fellow hosts to do is, if you're not going to chit chat with us for a little bit, to exit the room and then maybe come back again in 20 or 30 minutes, and we'll get you back in when you come in. Everybody's good at the moment. Just wanted to throw that out there to all you guys. All right, we're going to start here pretty soon. We got about 4 minutes yet. Let me ask you something, gentlemen. Last year, I made a pretty good penny in best ball because I doubled down on Denver as my secondary team in a lot of my best balls. Who is the best ball team this year? Is it the Raiders, Jason? I know you like them a lot.
The Raiders or the Ravens?
Mm-hmm.
Which one did you say, Danger?
I'm sorry, Las Vegas, sir.
Okay, Las Vegas. Yeah,
he's rolling the dice.
Yeah, yeah. All right, nice. I like it. So with Las Vegas, if I'm going to probably go sporadic here, so y'all reel me back in where y'all want me pointed at. But I'm more in Sam Darnold belief there in Seattle. Actually think, and I haven't written about this yet, but I've gotten comfortable to the point where, Danger, don't throw your hat at me, Seahawks win that division. Yes. But I'm more in on Darnold than Geno Smith out of the quarterbacks, formerly highly drafted quarterbacks that have reemergence. And also, I would say, I know everyone, I saw an article today says Brock Bowers is the clear tight end one for this year. I disagree. I think Trey McBride is tight end number one. I think Brock Bowers, Michael Myers comes back. Michael Myers, he always comes back. Michael Mayer comes back this year. He's healthy. I like the the two rookies they added at wide receiver in the second and fourth round. You got Jacoby Myers. You still got Trey Tucker there, and we've already been talking about Ashton Genty. So I don't think they're so dependent on Brock Bowers. Nothing against Brock Bowers. What you saw last year was absolutely real. But who is Kyler Murray throwing to? You've got Trey McBride, you got Marvin Harrison Jr. Then we're going down to the running backs, whether it's James Conner or Trey Benson and Michael Wilson. No, so Trey McBride still has to be force-fed in that offense. Brock Bowers, he's going to take a little bit of the hit and not get as many targets as he saw last year.
Well, listen, man, I'm not upset at you talking about Sam Darnold. He was with our Niners last year, right? And Kyle Shanahan had
2 years ago, yeah.
2 years ago, had nothing but absolutely kind things to say about him. And you got to remember, man, this kid was like 17 years old when the Jets threw him in there. I mean, he was the youngest guy in the draft that year. Got thrown directly into a starting lineup. Played for terrible teams with terrible lines with terrible coaching. This kid was a first overall pick. I mean, this guy knows what he's doing. I think that it wouldn't shock me to see him have a very, very nice, late 20s, early 30s career. He's only 27, 28.
He's still young. And so I know a lot of people are like, why do you move on from Geno to Sam Darnold? And the other part of it is that, well, now he doesn't have Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, on and on. But if Cooper Kupp can stay healthy, I know at 32, I believe he is now, that's a big question. Jackson Smith and the Jigma already showed you that he's legit. Love the rookie Torrey Holt. I think Torrey Horton, he gets involved immediately in that offense, and they have some quality depth pieces that I think give you that little bit of insurance options or some decent depth pieces. Obviously not the level of play of those top three, but those top threes, A.J. Barner, I know everybody's looking at the rookie that was selected in the second round. A.J. Barner can block and catch. I'm buying more stock in him after they release Noah Fant.
Fair enough. All right, guys, it is time to get this draft started in a minute. Let's introduce the players real quick, and then I'll click the start the draft button. In the first spot, we've got Replay Real. Replay Real is a longtime subscriber to drroto.com and won his way into this league by beating me in the Beat Johnny Danger League last year. So welcome Replay Real into the fold. Number two, Mr. Chris Kennedy, rankings guru himself. Number three, Cam Man, the first champion. I almost butchered that, but I got it. He won the first year of the Dr. Roto Staff League. He is, of course, a baseball and football writer for us. The great Swami at number four. Are you worried about Swami sniping you right away, Jason? Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know where he's going to go with it, but I'm absolutely concerned because this isn't your typical league. So everybody has their own convictions and it's backed up with knowledge. So I don't expect us to go traditional like what you see mock draft. I think we're going to see people knowing who's behind them, what's available, and especially in a 14 league with experts. They're also already looking ahead at, all right, so this thing's not coming back to me. So he picks at 4. It's not coming back to him for what, 20 some picks? How then will the running backs be? What will the wide receivers be there? So all of that variable drafting is what I call it. I think we see a lot of that in this.
I think so. Of course, NFL insider himself, Jayson Braddock, at number 5. We got Bryce, who started out as an intern and kicked some butt for us here at drroto.com, coming in at number 6. We got the kissing cousins, Trustin Trevor, coming in right there. After him, Lou Landers in 8th. We've got Tano Ram. So Tano Ram won his way into the Staff League last year, Jason, by beating me in the finals of the Beat Johnny Danger League. And then, Jason, he earned his way back in by winning the Staff League last year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats. Welcome back.
Welcome back. The madman himself, he'd override in right after him. The delivery man, otherwise known as the Great Willie Walls, coming in at number 10. We got Kickman coming straight from Illinois, coming in at number 10. Our resident hockey guy and high stakes NFL player. And we got Derek Antoine at number 11, and myself bringing up the wheel. All right, fans, let's go ahead and kick this off and see just how fast Replay Reel can make pick number 1.
You think he's going to be a homer and take Christian McCaffrey?
I hope he does. To be honest. To be honest, I think it would be great.
Yeah. Please do it. Nope.
No, he didn't do it. Jamar Chase, I think, very consensus number 1. And then it comes Gibbs and Bijan Robinson tend to be number 2 in most of the drafts. Where do you fall on that, Jason?
I got Gibbs number 1. That's why it surprises me. I've been hearing, is it Bijan Robinson? Is it Saquon Barkley? And I'm like, I love Gibbs. I'm completely in on that. This is what I'm talking about. Don't expect this to be the traditional draft. I love the pick there, number 2 with Jahmyr Gibbs. And who else would it be other than Chris Kennedy?
Absolutely. Love it. Barkley. Can Barkley repeat? I see, he's on the Madden cover. Is he going to get injured in week 2?
I definitely think he'll be injured. I'm a big believer in workload, especially for older backs. 1 year doesn't make it what's going to continue to happen. I think last year was an anomaly with all the older backs having great seasons. I'm worried about Saquon Barkley. I'm worried about Derrick Henry. I'm worried about Josh Jacobs, and I'm worried about Christian McCaffrey. We've seen when he had the type of workload he did 2 years ago. Earlier in his career, he's had those type of workload twice, and it usually takes him about 2 years of down years before he comes back. Maybe next year he bounces back, but I'm not in on any of those guys.
Interesting. All right, Swami, I don't know if he missed the curtain call here or what. He's not here. He's about to auto pick, which would be Bijan Robinson. If that's the case, Jason, who are you going to go with?
Well, I've got 2 running backs here, Bijan Robinson or Ashton Genty. If he takes the auto pick here, I'm going Ashton Genty. Like we're teasing a little bit before. I'm a youth guy at that running back position, and I think Genty's going to be a monster. I don't think he breaks Eric Dickerson's rookie rushing record, but I think he finishes second. I can't remember if it was Alfred Morris or Clinton Porter, so who it was that was up there around 1,500 rushing yards. I think Genty beats him.
There you go. You get your chance there. They're going to break Lou's heart, but Lou knew it wasn't happening. It wasn't getting to him. We're on
the board. 4 running backs early out of the first 5 picks. I love this strategy because I think there is a deep drop off there after this first tier of running backs. And as far as was it Cam who went Saquon Barkley?
Yes.
All right. So if he's got the conviction, like, look, I'm zigging where they zag. You can make the case for it. Obviously, the guy had a monster year last year. Eagles just traded for John Mechie yesterday. So they've got a legit 3 deep at wide receiver when they didn't have a guy. I think their 3rd and 4th receivers last year were Jahan Dotson and Anais Smith, the rookie, who combined for 26 catches. Now, while John Mechie didn't have a big production last year, he's overcome so much in his young career. The arrow's still pointing up. The best football still ahead of him. And his 24 catches, he almost had the same amount of catches, touchdowns, and receiving yards as Anais Smith and Jahan Dotson did. Johnny Wilson looks improved in his second year. Anais Smith, I'm a big believer in. And Jahan Dotson looks more comfortable there in year 2 with Philadelphia. You have that rushing attack. So if you believe in Saquon Barkley, you don't think you're not putting much stock into the touches and him having a fall off, absolutely no problem with Cam going Saquon there.
Not at all. Hey, that brings me back, buddy. Last time you and I were talking about John Mechie, I believe we were doing shows with another NFL insider.
Absolutely, Aaron Wilson. Absolutely.
Quite a few years back. That was a good time.
Yeah, we had some fun with there, just breaking down the Texans week in, week out.
Yeah, I almost became a Texans fan. I'm not gonna lie, it was close. It didn't happen, but it was almost there. All right, we got Derrick Henry. Is he ever gonna age out of this league, or is he still gonna be crushing defensive backs in his 40s?
Yeah, it's almost like the Steven Jackson. I kept predicting Steven Jackson would have that fall off, and it keep not this year, not this year, not this year. So again, if you have the conviction that Derrick Henry, same thing that made him successful last year, having Lamar Jackson, all the weapons around Lamar, that really allows you not to stack the box against Derrick Henry. The only question with Saquon and Henry is if they can do the workload again. But Johnny Danger, you're on the clock. What are we thinking here?
Oh man, I wasn't even watching, to be honest. So I got to check out what's going on. We're talking about Houston. We got Nico Collins there. We got Achane. But, man, I hate not knowing all the answers about Devon with his injury. So I don't think I can go there. I don't know. This is a quandary here.
I'm going to go ahead and let you take some time to ponder that, catch up on the board a little bit. Had CeeDee Lamb and Brian Thomas Jr. go before Justin Jefferson. Just heard Justin Jefferson has been dealing with a minor injury all throughout training camps, finally returning. Interesting to see him slide there. You get value there of Justin Jefferson if he can be what we all expect him to be. But I understand if you're still worried about J.J. McCarthy in his first year as a full-time starter after being injured all of last year, then Brian Thomas Jr., CeeDee Lamb, maybe they're more of a safer pick, or maybe you're buying into the upside that they can outproduce Justin Jefferson. But I love the value found there by Mr. Lou Landers with Justin Jefferson.
All right, so this is what I went with, Jason. I'm going to get yelled at by Doc probably by going Trey McBride to round the turn there. But here's my theory. It's a long time to come back to find me.
Absolutely.
I really strongly considered Chase Brown there, and maybe that was a smarter play. But when I'm thinking, 30-some picks before it gets back to me, I think I got to take target hogs. And I think Ladd McConkey is a guy that's going to get, 110 targets. I think McBride's going to get 90 to 100, maybe more at the tight end position. And now I don't got to worry about tight end the rest of the time. So
McBride also danger. I mean, there's no way he only scores one touchdown again.
Right.
Love the Bucky Irvin pick there. Who took Bucky Irvin? You get him there?
That was Willie Walls, and I was considering either doing what I did and take two big target hogs, or I was going to go Bucky and Brown. And I'm probably going to regret it later, but we'll just keep moving on. We'll let Lou take his pick here.
Go ahead.
I really don't want to make this pick, but I need a running back. So
let's go ahead and bring a guest in. I don't know if he's ready. He's going to have to give me a thumbs up or something. But Tano Ram, I want to bring you in at some point here. So you give me a thumbs up and you're ready. But I'm going to start with our man, the myth, the legend, Bring the Pain.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for Dr. Roto and the draft of all drafts. Ooh, yeah. What's going on, team? How's everybody doing?
What's going on, Heat?
Woo, it's good to hear you, Jason. I heard you talking me up saying that guy's got a lot of energy. I just got out of karate. I have a lot more energy than I normally do.
Nice.
This draft is going great so far. How's everybody's doing? I mean, it looks great for me. I got exactly who I wanted.
Well, I mean, I hate the real, man. I changed my plan. I was going to go running back, and I changed my plan at the last minute. You know that I usually take last place in this league every year because I chit chat with all of you guys. I never look at the board, and then I panic. So it'll be totally fine. All right, Jason's about to draft here. All right, Kyren Williams, huh? Is that a homer pick, or do you believe in it?
No, I believe in him. So if you guys didn't watch what the Rams are doing, I just go back and watch the end of the year last year. Go watch the playoffs. That is Todd Gurley's playbook. I swear to you, up and down, that is Todd Gurley's playbook. What happened when Todd Gurley ran that playbook? Sean McVay has been waiting for a bell cow of some sort to come through. Now, Williams, of course, started out his career a little shaky, injured. But since then, he's been one of the more consistent running backs. If you can't have Bijan Robinson, you want someone like Kyren Williams on your team because he's going to consistently get that. And we all know McVay, ballhawks. The Rams are a true running back bell cow system. That is why Kyren Williams is the pick. And that is why I passed up Puka for Amon-Ra St. Brown, because I figured that they're going to get the same amount of work, but the touchdowns are always going to come close for the Rams, and that's going to be the Kyren Williams underneath Devontae Adams work.
If there's an injury with Matthew Stafford, like it seems like there is, they might even lean harder on that ground game early on too.
That is correct as well too, and that's the thing, is that's what the Rams are doing. They're trying to preserve Stafford for when they need him, and then they're going to do it. That's why everybody's looking at like Blake Corum. Everybody's forgetting about him. And everybody else, they're like, we need to run this ball. One injury, yes, everybody becomes viable, but they're always going to be that 1A and then everybody's 2B. And that's big. And I just don't trust right now. I know what Puka can do, but I also know that Devontae Adams can go up and get balls. And that's going to take away from the touchdown production. And so you can combine that as a name. And since that, the one person that isn't going to be fazed by any of that is Kyren Williams. Watch that go down. We're repeating. We're the
all right. First of all, let's take care of a few things. Love you, buddy. We'll bring you back on in a little while.
Yeah, buddy.
Mm-hmm. So Derek Antoine said, if McCaffrey was there, would I taken him at 14? I mean, maybe. If he stays healthy, he says he's healthy. Of course, he said he was healthy last year. Do you think CMC? Do you think that he still has it in him? If he's truly healthy, can he be a top 3 back again, or is Father Time caught up to him?
If he's truly healthy and he can stay healthy, yeah. I mean, when you look at Brock Purdy, and he has, I think he started his career 10-0, but what happened since then? He's been a 500 quarterback. And when he had his best seasons, I mean, you're talking about a healthy CMC. You're talking a healthy and prime George Kittle. You're talking a healthy Deebo Samuel in the breakout year. You're talking about a healthy Brandon Ayuk. He had everything at his disposal. And without those guys, he's been a mediocre quarterback. And so I think he needs CMC to be healthy. And if CMC, they're saying he's in the best shape of his life, but I mean, we hear that with everybody before the season starts. If he is fully healthy, he can stay healthy. Yes, he can still be the same CMC. But again, I'm overly cautious when it comes to older backs that it doesn't matter who it's been throughout history. They seem to have that wear and tear that catches up with them.
Fair enough.
I love the pick by who's first overall? Mario Hampton. And some people will say, I think you went a little bit too early there. I completely disagree. That was going to be my next selection, even though I've already got drafted 2 running backs. A little concerned there with Devon Achane, not knowing about the calf injury, soft tissue issue, how long that might hold it out. They're saying they're not worried about.
Are you thanking your lucky stars that I brought up my concern about his injury and maybe it helped him drop a few more picks to you?
Oh, absolutely. Because I felt like once you get past all the running backs that went there in the first round, the only other 2 guys I was looking at before Mario Hampton was Bucky Irvin and Devon Achane. So, all
right. Well, I'm going to let you get into your pick here, Jason. You're up next. I got 2 guys here that are here from work, and I'm going to try to squeeze them in here. Trevor is going to come up before him, so I'm going to bring Kickman in first, and then we'll come back to Trevor. Mr. Kickman, how you doing, sir? How's the shop?
I'm doing really well.
Mhm. If anybody is in Naperville, Illinois ever, and you don't stop to see him, I will personally find you and I'll hurt you, and I'll drag you in there by your teeth. It'll be fun. Hey, Kick, how you feeling about Malik Neighbors? I know you took him. You got to be happy about him.
I'm stoked about him, though. I was really hoping that Amon Ra was going to fall to me, but which that didn't happen, of course.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of happy with your 2 picks on the corner and getting Brown on the way back.
It was a tough choice. I figured we're going to have to go super deep, and running backs get injured and backups pop up, and I needed target hog. So you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, so I was happy with that. If you didn't take 2 running backs, my guy could have been one of them.
Yeah, nope, that is 100% true. Who are you looking for super deep, Kick? You can tell me. I won't tell anybody.
Super deep?
Yeah. Who are you going to take in, like, say, let's see, when are you coming back around? In the 12th round of 2 picks after me, who are you going to take?
In the 12th round, who am I going to take after you?
Yeah, so I can make
That's a long time from now. It could be anybody.
It could be anybody. All right, buddy. I appreciate you. We'll check back in when a couple more picks come by.
All right, perfect.
All right, you gotta make sure you check out Kickman. He's one of the best high stakes fantasy players out there, and obviously crushes the hockey stuff as well. So not bad, Mr. Lou. Let's bring you back in here. You took Jefferson, which is a little shock that he went so late to you.
The injury, man, like Braddock alluded to. I mean, he could have gone. He could have gone anywhere from 3 through 7, but that injury, I think, bumped him. I mean, I would trade Jefferson for Lamb right now if Bryce wanted to. There
you go, Bryce.
As the CD Lamb homer.
All right, hold on. Hey, Bryce, how do you feel about trading Lamb for Jefferson right now?
Good try, bud. Not gonna happen, man.
I love it.
I didn't think so. And then, man, I don't like Josh Jacobs very much anymore. I agree with Jason, the tread on the tires for these guys. But after seeing Bucky and Chase go, I thought I was going to be able to get one of them. I just wanted to get myself a running back. But Travion is actually the pick I'm most excited about. I know he was going early 3rd in some higher stakes leagues recently. So I was just hoping that Jason and Bryce and Trevor would not take him.
Fair enough. I still have this bias that I can't get over for New England running backs. Do I need to get over that, Jason?
Yeah, Bill O'Brien's not there anymore. I think Ramondre Stevenson will have a role. Antonio Gibson will have more of a receiving role than anything. But I mean, Travion Henderson, I mean, the guy's a beast. He's going to get the bulk of that work, or should get the bulk of that work. And so I have no problem with the Henderson pick. We've had 3 quarterbacks go this round, and first of all 3 of them, not Josh Allen, not Lamar Jackson, but Joe Burrow. Some of the surprises I was telling you might see here, but again, the case can definitely be made there for Joe Burrow with that defense lacking. Talk about them possibly being willing to trade Trey Hendrickson, if you can believe that. And so Burrow's going to have to throw the ball all day again this year. And so I have no issue there with the Joe Burrow pick being the first quarterback off the board.
I probably should have checked this, but I believe it's 6-point passing touchdown. And because of that, I'm kind of more in on Burrow potentially being number 1. I mean, I know he's not going to do stuff on the ground like Allen and Jackson, but I think he'll probably lead the league in touchdown passes if Chase and Higgins are healthy.
All right, now we've got Danger coming up with back-to-back picks again. Danger, do you have to force the issue here at running back after passing the first 2 rounds? They're going off the board. I'm trying to make your life harder. That's what I'm here for, Danger. So I got 3 running backs in my first 3 picks. I know the thinness of the group, unless you just fall for somebody who could be available later.
I've done it so far. So why don't we just ignore them? Let's go Courtland Sutton. I mean, I love this Denver team, man. I love them a lot. I love Courtland Sutton. Him and Nix were just absolute powerhouses several games throughout the year. And I'm just going to try to keep taking guys that I think are going to take, a huge portion of the pass targets for their team. And I think Courtland Sutton's that guy for Denver.
0 running backs for you. And Lou, who's picking one spot ahead of you? I can't see the screen from here. Looks like
it's Trevor. It's Trust and Trevor.
All right. So Trevor and Danger going 0 running backs first 3 rounds there.
I'm going to force the issue. I'm going to go with Caleb Johnson. I'm going to force the issue. I'm going to go. If I'm going to force they're not going to come back around. I'm not interested in Joe Mixon this year. I don't really like Pacheco very much. I could be wrong on that. I don't know.
There's one guy, if I was you, Danger, that I would have taken. He's sitting there. I don't like to drop names until they're taken, so I won't drop the name. But there's one guy I would have taken because I know his role is there, and I know he's going to score a lot of touchdowns. But go with the upside.
I'm going with the upside. I'm going with some youth there. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Like I said, I always take last place in this league.
No, I like Caleb Johnson. I like him a
No.
lot. I know me and Doc, when he was on the air a couple of weeks ago, I was on with him, and he was bringing up some of the questions that's making the rounds around the nation as far as that Pittsburgh backfield. And if you're worried about Jaylen Warren, just being a dog in that backfield with his pass protection, having an older quarterback in Aaron Rodgers that you definitely need to have that back that can protect them. But I think Cream rises to the top, and I don't think Jaylen Warren is the type of back that Caleb Johnson is. I don't think he's anywhere close to that type of talent as a rusher. So I love the pick there of Caleb Johnson. I love a lot of these younger running backs in this year's draft, the fit and where they fell into. So I have no issue with that Caleb Johnson selection there at all.
Absolutely.
And Kickman took that player, by the way. It was David Montgomery. With a non-running back start, I personally would have played it safe with the safety net because I wanted someone who I knew could produce in the NFL because I not having a running back. But again, upside is upside.
I hear you, Lou, but as a guy who lives near Detroit and hears it constantly, is the only game on my normal television I can watch. I think they learned a lesson last year that they were wasting touches on Monty.
I completely agree. That's why I think, we see Chris Kennedy go Jahmyr Gibbs, first running back off the board. I know all the talk has been around Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley. Jahmyr Gibbs was my running back 1. And so I have no surprise there seeing Kennedy going with Gibbs first off overall. We see a lot of different backs in today's NFL that we talk about doing more with less. Jahmyr Gibbs showed last year that he does more with more. And so I think you continue to feed him there. And so I like the Caleb Johnson over the David Montgomery selection.
All right. Well, I'm hoping Replay Reel can get back in this at some point so I can get him on here. I still haven't seen a thumbs up or anything from Tanoram to see if I can bring him in here for a minute.
He put in the chat that he's good whenever.
Tanoram's good with that. Right. I'm going to bring him in after we talk to Trevor because he also is trying to pull this draft off while working. So let's trust in Trevor. You just picked Mr. Hubbard. You got a lot of noise going on over there. You good now?
I just turned it off.
You're good. I just didn't know if I caught you at a bad time. You got Mr. Hubbard there. He was on my list instead of Caleb Johnson for a minute. Do you think he can pull off another year in Carolina like he did before?
Well, I think so. They got their whole offensive line back. So, yeah, I kind of like the pick there. I was really happy to get him where I got him since I didn't have a running back. So, for him being my first running back after my first 3 picks, I'm very happy with.
Do you agree with Jason, even though you drafted Mr. Bowers? Do you think McBride is the real number 1 this year?
I think they're neck and neck. I'm a horse apiece for me. I just took Bowers because I really didn't like anybody else in the second round.
Fair enough. How do you feel about the Jets? I mean, you picked up Garrett Wilson. That's a talent play, right? You can't feel great about the Jets. He's just super talented.
Yeah, I just picked him because I thought he's just an excellent receiver. I understand that we'll hope Fields gets him the football, but I just picked him because of the talent and just hoping that Fields will just feed him the ball.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Lou and Jason, but Fields does tend to just lock in on a single person a lot.
And Garrett Wilson, also they have that tie going back to Ohio State. So if you're talking about somebody being a first-year quarterback in the new system, having a lack of weapons behind Garrett Wilson, one of the reasons I like Breece Hall so much, I think your 2 best receiving options are Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall, and then Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields both have that chemistry from Ohio State. So I think he's going to force feed Garrett Wilson, and he's not great at going through his progressions. So he's probably going to look for Garrett Wilson. If that's not there, then he's going to go to Brees Hall and drop it off to him on one of the other Jets backfield.
Or run for first down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I will say it was tough for me to pass on Jefferson being a diehard Viking fan. I just went with Thomas. This is a gut feeling there. I think he's going to be a 1,600 player. Not to say Jefferson won't be, but I think the Jaguars have a much easier schedule than the Vikings do. So I just went with Thomas, and I'm going to root for Jefferson regardless. So it doesn't really matter.
Hey, Trevor, I'll offer you the same trade I offered Bryce. I'll give you Jefferson for Thomas.
Oh, you. That's interesting to me. I'll think about that. But yeah, Jefferson's back in practice. They weren't worried about his hamstring at all. They just weren't going to put him out there. And I'm sure Jefferson's been around long enough where he feels a little. Somebody's like, I just don't want to practice for a couple weeks.
Right. Fair enough. All right, Trevor. We'll check back in with you later, and good luck with the rest of the draft, my friend. I'm going to go over to Mr. Tano Ram. Oh my gosh, he wins the Johnny Danger League to get into the Staff League. He wins the Staff League. If you win again, I think we just have to literally put you on staff, man.
No, it's all right. I can just be the guy that spoils the party. It's okay. I'll let you guys take the spotlight.
I like your custom background. It's backwards to us. You got to figure out how to
I was going to ask you, what does it say? I see something.
I beat Danger 25. I beat Dr. Roto Staff 24.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, 23-24.
Yep. Sadly, he's not wearing the beautiful custom shirt I sent him in 2020.
Yeah, no, I'm wearing the Dolphins. Yeah, it's great to be here with all y'all. I agree with Heat. This draft definitely has been a little wild. I definitely had to switch up a little bit of the strategy. I knew a lot of the running backs were going to go. So I kind of went with Henry for my first one because I just knew I needed some type of power because the longer I waited, those power running backs were going to be gone. So I'd hope to go wide receiver starting off, but, pretty happy with where I'm at right now. So
it didn't work out that way.
Hey, it's okay. Got to adjust, right?
Okay. All right. Let me ask you a question, and feel free to be brutally honest. What has the Dr. Roto Discord done for your overall fantasy football winnings?
I'll tell you, I don't want to steal what Jason said, but I mean, one of the biggest things that makes it so different is you definitely feel like part of the family. Like no matter what question you ask, you're never put down. It's never a stupid question. Doc is probably the nicest guy in the world because I know sometimes I'm hear questions and I'm thinking, man, what are they asking? But he still gives them all the love and attention. I've been around for quite a while, and I'll be honest, the Dr. Roto staff and the Discord is what's helped me along the way. You can ask a lot of questions, but the key recommendation I would tell everybody is take the advice, but make it your own. You can't expect Heat to tell you what to do. You can't expect Lou to tell you what to do. Take it all in and then adjust it, because if you depend on everybody else, then you're not playing. You might as well just let them coach your team. And so that's why sometimes, Heat will say something, I might disagree, but that's okay. It's football, right? It's something we learn and grow, and we're never going to be 100% correct. So I definitely appreciate everything you guys do.
Give me the final record of the Miami Dolphins this year.
Let's just hope they I'm let's go with 9. We're gonna go with 9 wins.
9
that might be a little on the heavy side, but I'm just hoping Tua makes it all the way through. I'm hoping Tyreek is just drama and he actually comes back and plays, because that's gonna make a big difference for everybody else. And right now we just got to make sure we get that O-line straight up. So we'll see.
Absolutely love it. Appreciate you, brother. We'll bring you back on a little later.
Rock out.
All right, awesome. All right, so Mr. Swami, do you think that he is having problems? Is he at work? Did he set up a queue? What do you think of number 4, the great Swami? What do you think of his team so far?
Damn it, Jason. Damn you, Jason.
No, that's what I've been saying with all the wide receivers. I went there and I didn't even listen to my own advice. I was sitting here, I'm like, all right, when we went into this thing, I said, listen, these are a bunch of experts. This isn't going to go like a traditional draft. So I was thinking, all right, I was sitting there, I was looking at Calvin Ridley, I was looking at Zay Flowers, I was looking at George Pickens, Jameson Williams. All 4 of those guys get selected, and it's nowhere close to in order. and I've been playing it too conservative, and I was going to hit one of those 4 on the way back. Definitely thought Calvin Ridley would make it on the way back. My mistake there. Zay Flowers I was considering over Metcalf, and I definitely thought George Pickens would make it back to me. So I already had that circled, went back to listen to you. I see George Pickens on the turnaround. And so then Jameis Williamson. So I'm like, all right, well, let's look here. You got Devontae Smith there. You got some other guys. I think Roma Dunze will be the number 1 wide receiver, not DJ Moore. DJ Moore was there on the top of the list. Scroll past that, scroll by, past Devontae Smith. I think Roma Dunze, and I'm buying on Caleb Williams heavy this year. And so I think Roma Dunze, him coming in with Caleb Williams, both being top 10 picks in last year's draft, got that instant chemistry. He'll be the go-to there. There's a ton of weapons in Chicago, so you might have to worry about the ball being spread around. But I think Caleb will make Roman Dunze the number 1 option for the Bears.
I think you're right. And when the 5th round began, I figured I'm getting one of Pickens, Dunze, or McMillan, and all 3 went. So I got the guy who you say is number 1 on the depth chart, but going to be number 2 on the stat sheet. And you're probably right. But I think Moore, even if Dunze is number 1, I still think Moore has that solid floor. So
yeah, they've been looking at getting him involved in the backfield. So, I mean, they're looking at different creative ways so they can feed all these monsters. You've got a 2-headed Cole Kmet, who's shown up every single year since he's been in the league, is the forgotten man there. And I mean, for Cole Kmet to be forgotten, that tells you how many weapons are there. You got Luther Burden, the rookie. You got Colston Lovin, the rookie. You got Cole Kmet as tight end 2. You got DJ Moore and Roma Dunze. And then I like the 3-headed. I know Roshan Johnson didn't show up last year. Throw away what you saw. The offensive line was brutal. Caleb was a rookie quarterback, and the rookie Kyle Monagai. I think. I don't know how he lasted till the 7th round in the NFL draft, because I think he's a value, and he will definitely be in that mix with DeAndre Swift and Johnson in that backfield. They're loaded, and they've completely rebuilt the interior of that offensive line. This isn't Chicago from 2024. All right, Danger coming back up on 2 picks. Travis Hunter goes off the board. All right, so we see Travis Hunter goes. What are y'all's thoughts on Travis Hunter? I spoke a little bit earlier in the show about, the potential to be Shohei Ohtani of the NFL, but I think he does have some development as a receiver, some development as a corner, and his frame is prone to injuries. But if he hits, so I'll tee it up for you guys. What are your thoughts there, especially Lou, because I know Danger really has to focus on these next 2 picks.
I mean, obviously, the easy thing to do is exactly what you're saying, is he could be that, Shohei Ohtani of the NFL. But I'm with you. It's not going to happen right away. I do think he will be better on the offensive side of the ball than he will be on the defensive side of the ball at first. I do think that. I think it'll be an easier adjustment for him. But, I mean, you also bring up a good point about his frame. I mean, he's not used to necessarily going over the middle to make a catch and having some NFL caliber linebacker laying him out. That's going to be a rude awakening the first time that happens. And also, you can get scared off as a player when you get hit like that first time.
Yeah, and also, if that's your wide receiver 2 for Jacksonville, the offense and players can be targeting him. I mean, you can take out the other team's number 2 wide receiver when he's on defense with just like blindside block, shooting your biggest guys toward him, tight end just really coming out, firing out block on a tunnel screen and just burying him in the dirt there. And I think people will have a point to prove with Travis Hunter. And
this isn't college anymore. To steal a line from the Wizard of Oz, we're not in Kansas anymore. Well, we're not in college anymore. It's a brand new ball game for Travis Hunter, and I think it is going to be a big adjustment to the speed and the size of the league, and more so for him than a lot of the other rookies because of that, because he has to play on both sides.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Not in Kansas anymore, not in Colorado anymore either. I know he stepped up from the level prior to that, but Colorado football, their competition, let's just say it's not the SEC. And so I still think that's a big leap to the NFL, but I've got to go back to Danger because I love the Tyrone Tracy. There's so much talk about this backfield and that backfield. You look what Tracy did when he had even mediocre quarterback play, this guy was almost a 6-yard per carry type of back, receiving role as a former receiver. I love the Tracy pick, and I hear about him being available in the 8th round and all that. I know this is a 14-team league, but I think you pass on running backs, those first 3 picks, and you come back and you really add the value there with the Caleb Johnson and the Tyrone Tracy Jr. Some people might say you went early. I think you got value there because it's really not about opinions during the draft. It's the opinions at the end of the season. I think we'll look back at this and say, man, this was great strategy if you pass on 3 running backs in your first 3 picks on a 14-team league, and you still get Caleb Johnson and Tracy. And obviously, you're going to have to add more quality depth there, high-end depth, another guy that can start. But, I mean, to come back from passing those first 3 picks, I love what you've done there.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of, people like Scatbo because it's a fun story, but he's not going to be that guy. Not this year. He's got to add some weight. He's got to figure out what he's doing back there. He can't block well. It's the Tracy show there. Bo Nix, look, it was probably early for Bo Nix. I probably didn't need to take a quarterback there. But when you look through 14 teams and you're kind of looking at where you're drafting, you kind of look at where the next slot is, and nobody was jumping off the board. I didn't love anybody in the range that was there. It's a lot of veterans with questions going on. I already got my tight end. So I just didn't love any of the wide receivers or the second running backs there. So I just went with Bo Nix because I think he's special. And I got Sutton there, so I like the little 1-2 punch. So I probably wouldn't have done it if I didn't have Sutton, but I did. So there we go. Hey, let's bring in another guest. We've been kind of ignoring our fellow people here. Let's bring in Derek Antoine. He was the first one to join us in the pre-show. So we should bring him up here. He just got done picking there. Derek, are you happy with your team? Have I been sniping you at all? Probably not, because I'm a little off the rails today.
I would say not just yet. Trey McBride was one I was really in on. I was talking to Cam about him earlier in the week in terms of the tight ends are going to be there at the turn. Brock Bowers, Trey McBride. 100% agree with Jason on Trey being the number 1 tight end this year. Just saw all kinds of targets there. So I was a little disappointed he didn't come back around. Nico being there was an okay consolation, I think. I am a little bit worried about McCaffrey, but I asked myself the big what if. If he is healthy and he does play, what else do the 49ers have? I think it could be a monster year there. So I went ahead and added Kamara, the other PPR monster from 10 years ago. If you haven't noticed the theme, I like to grab guys that used to be something. So so far, so good. Looking at the Laporta pick, thinking I could have went a different way there, but I also like the way he finished up last year, and I think that could end up being value as well.
Absolutely. Love it, buddy. Well, good luck out there.
Thank you.
We'll check back in a little bit. And wait a minute. You made a comment here. You said more greater than a Dunze.
I think so, yeah.
I hope you're right, brother.
I mean, the talk has been 15, Adunze in camp all day long. The chemistry is going to be there. But Moore is just a baller. He's shown it time and time again. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. The guy gets open. The guy fights. The guy's passionate. He's going to go out there and get it done. So I do think that it will be more. It kind of in that Amon-Ra, St. Brown kind of a role in the Ben Johnson offense. And I think he's got Udunze this season.
Nice. And I think that's the key. You have to have your own convictions, and especially when we're talking about people that do the research like Derek. Also, with him being there and being a Bears fans, I mean, nobody's going to be closer and watch snap in every single snap, year after year, understand what's the player, understand what's outside noise. So I absolutely 100% endorse you going with your gut feeling and your convictions there.
Dig it. Appreciate you, Derek. We'll bring you back a little later. We got a question from the audience, Jason. Are you ready for this one?
All right, let's do it.
Could be a sneak peek, but are either of you willing to talk about your thoughts on R.J. Harvey?
Oh, so R.J. Harvey, me and Doc's been going back and forth on this. Like, I know Harvey, Doc's really in on Harvey from what I understand. For me, it's not that I don't like the talent. I think the talent's there. But for me, it's just there's so much talent in that Broncos backfield. Yeah, J.K. Dobbins is probably going to get injured at some point. But you also have Jaleel McLaughlin that's going to be a contributor. Tyler Beatty's going to be a contributor. I mean, they literally have a 5 deep at that running back position. And yes, Cream's always going to rise to the top. And so Harvey, if he goes out there and he outperforms all those other guys by a landslide, maybe he gets 60% of the work. But what we know about Sean Payton, when he had Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, then when Ingram moves on, replaces with Latavius Murray, that he takes those young backs, even like Alvin Kamara, who averaged what? I'm back on the clock. Yeah, so go to filling with your points. Let me see here, because Ricky Pearsall pick, great pick there. Zach Charbonnet, great pick there. So I thought I could go Olave, and I'm worried about the concussion history. And I thought I'd get Pearsall on the way back, but I mean, he's just sniping me left and right there. So great picks. And the Zach Charbonnet, I think he's actually running back one in Seattle. I like him better than Kenneth Walker. And I loved Kenneth Walker the third coming out of college. He was my top back even over Breece Hall when he came out of college. But your best ability is your availability. And Zach Charbonnet always shows up. And so I think Charbonnet's great value there.
I love that. Are you in on Harvey, Luke?
I am in on Harvey because I'm in on Sean Payton. And Sean Payton wanted this guy to be his guy, and he made sure he went out and got him. And Dobbins, Dobbins might have some good weeks, but at some point, Harvey's going to get that job. So it really just depends where you have to take him.
Fair enough. All right. When Bryce is done with his pick, I want to bring him in. But in the meantime, let's bring in Mr. Replay Reel. I see him there. He's got a complimentary red Niners hat to my all-white Niners hat. Super pretty. I love it. Replay, you've been around a long time, at least 4 years, maybe the whole 5 that the Discord's been going. You are notorious for a lot of questions on the Sunday morning show.
That is very correct. Doc taught me well in 2012 or so when he first came on Sirius, and ever since then, man, I've been asking a lot of questions to this fantasy football.
Absolutely love it. So you win your way in. I didn't have the greatest year last year in the Beat Johnny Danger League. You got your way into the championship. You get pick number 1. You take my overall pick number 1, Chase. You take Burrow to go with him because he's going to throw 2 to 3 touchdowns a game to Chase, right? It's Higgins. Higgins is gone. We don't need to worry about Higgins. And you have the aforementioned R.J. Harvey.
Absolutely.
So how you liking your team? You got our boy Pearsall. I thought you'd get him before I would.
Yeah, the number 1 pick. Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate that. No pressure, right? Jamar Chase or Gibbs. I mean, it's a toss-up to me. I'm a running back guy. Normally, I would go Gibbs, but I'm with you guys tonight. We go Chase. Yeah, the Burrow hookup. I mean, come on. If we make it to the playoffs here, we're looking really good here, and he's just good all regular season. Harvey, the man could catch 40, 50 passes easy. I trust in Sean Payton also, Lou. So that's a lot of the reason why I kind of went there. And then Pickens is just explosive. You're starting 2 wide receivers. I'll take Pickens.
Oh, well, let me jump in here because, there's a couple picks. I think we always talk about zig when they zag. You have a lot of people with their own opinions and everything else. So Mario Hampton. That's going to be too high for many people. I was going to take him if you didn't take him right there. So I thought that was a great pick. Then you go with another rookie in R.J. Harvey. I know you touched a little bit on that. George Pickens, I think the reason I am not as high on CeeDee Lamb is because I think people don't realize George Pickens has played with nobody at quarterback, nobody to take the attention away from him. I think George Pickens, the arrow is up for him this year, and he's got a quarterback in Dak that can get him the ball, and a ton of the attention is going to be on CeeDee Lamb. So I love the Pickens pick, love the Mario Hampton pick, and also love the Ricky Pearsall. That was going to be my pick over Matthew Golden here. So it's definitely 3 of those picks there that I'm all on board with there. Let me know your thought process there with going with those 2 rookies as your first 2 back, and then kind of zigging away from that after Danger takes the rookie Caleb Johnson. You go the other way there with Jaylen Warren.
Yeah, sure, Braddock. Hampton, I mean, to me, available right there. I've had Hall in the past. I drafted Henderson yesterday in another draft. It was either one of those 3, but I needed to get a running back right there because I knew, 28 picks later, RB1 Harvey. I'll take Harvey 2, and we'll let Warren take some snaps if we need to early in the season. And that's kind of why I drafted him. I do believe that, we're just going to supplant, Warren and put Johnson right in there. Is he going to have to earn his way? And I think just like Harvey, they're going to have to earn their way. But right now we're starting off Warren. That's to me, catches a ton of passes. I actually wanted Junkins right there, but got sniped there. was going to take a shot on him. And then after that, I wasn't real fond of the rest of the running backs. And it's kind of my thought process there.
Nice.
Hey,
I
look,
like
Pearsall, man, we might be Homer's replay, but the kid's showing up in camp, and there's not a wide receiver on that team that can stay healthy.
Absolutely.
I'm in. Speaking on that, I appreciate you, buddy. We'll bring you back another time.
Yep.
Speaking of wide receivers that can't stay healthy, what do you think of my pick of Higgins? My thought process is Houston has that problem too, and it looks like he might get that number 3 wide receiver spot to start the year. I looks like I'm going to need to start him because we start 3 wide receivers in this 14-team league, which is crazy. I should change that setting. But what do you think of Higgins? Fill me in, Mr. Houston.
Funny thing here. There's 3 wide receivers in the entire NFL from Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans drafted 2 of them this year, and Jaden Higgins in the 2nd round and his teammate in the 3rd round, Jaylen Noel. A couple years ago, they drafted Xavier Hutchinson. So they have all 3 Iowa State wide receivers in the entire NFL. I just find that funny. I'm guessing the Iowa State scout, they must really think a lot about the regional scout there for Iowa State, because no other team has one. And I don't know of a wide receiver drafted out of Iowa State other than, who was it? Was it Hakeem Butler maybe that moved the tight end then to the UFL or something else? But maybe off on that. But Jaden Higgins, for me, I like your thought process when you talk. Nico's injured every year. Other than 2 seasons, Christian Kirk's injured every year. But without those injuries and not knowing what games they're going to miss, I think it's Jaylen Noel that makes the instant contribution, because I've seen Jaden Higgins like I saw Nico Collins, where it took Nico about 3 years to really become Nico, and he worked every day. They had one of their character coaches for the Texans was a former quarterback for the South Carolina Gamecocks, Dylan Thompson. Now I think he's up there in Washington with Jaden Daniels. But every day after practice from his rookie year on, Dylan Thompson would throw with Nico on the side after practice, and Nico just worked his craft. Jaden Higgins is that same guy that I think is going to take probably another year or possibly 2 to get to his upside, and then he'll probably be the better receiver out of the 2. This year, Jaylen Noel seems like that guy that can come in and fill that void of the Tank Dell role, where you're throwing tunnel screens, you're running jet sweeps, you're getting them more involved. So I'm actually higher on Jaylen Noel than Jaden Higgins this year.
Well, I appreciate you pooping on me, so we're just going to skip that conversation and move over to Mr. Bryce, who I teased earlier in the day and then kind of forgot about him. Sorry, Bryce, my bad. So welcome back, my man.
What's the deal?
You, sir, have a absolutely beautiful team in 2019.
Yes.
Just making fun of you. No, it's good. I like your team. You got veteran status there, man. You got Devontae Adams. You got Cooper Kupp. You must believe these guys have it in the tank still.
Yeah, I mean they're just attention guys. They're attention guys. They have good quarterbacks. I think Sam Darnold's really going to focus on veterans. It's not like Cooper Kupp can't play. It's about availability. That's what it comes down to. But I think, Cooper's out to prove a point. Devontae's still got it. We saw that last season. And I think he's in a better offense now where he can thrive among Puka Nacua. So, yeah, I do believe in those guys. Absolutely.
I love it. Well, Andrews was my number 1 overall drafted player in 12 leagues last year. And he really pooped the bed on me, man. So I wish you better luck with him this year, staying healthy, because he is a target hog in the red zone. Yeah,
a chip on the shoulder. That's a bad taste in your mouth from last season. I think it's the chip on the shoulder. He said he was going to come back better. I believe you. I'll give you a chance.
I love it. What are your thoughts on Tony Pollard, guys? I know Bryce drafted him. Jason, Lou, any thoughts on Tony Pollard? Lou's drafting, and Jason's going to have to shortly. But
Tony Pollard, I mean, you got Tajay Spears dealing with an injury. The backfield gets thin after that. I like the late round pick of Khalil Mullins. I think he has six plus touchdowns this year, just as that power back, kind of getting Pollard, Derrick Henry type bigger back to get in the mix with them. But as far as down in, down out, the guy's going to be Tony Pollard. And so I definitely like that as well. You were speaking about someone else earlier. I can't remember who it was. Run me through your team real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah. We're looking at CD, Jonathan Taylor, T. Higgins, Devontae Adams, Tony Pollard, Mark Andrews.
There it is. Devontae Adams. Any concern? You know, him and Jimmy Garoppolo had that fallout a little bit when they were on the same team previously. Stafford, the back injury, kind of like the Mixon thing where there's not much talked about it. But any thoughts or concerns there with that? Or are you just saying the talent's there, so it's going to rise?
I think the talent's there. I think Sean McVay is a heck of a coach. We've seen him take Baker Mayfield on 2 days. We've seen him put Bryce Perkins in. We've seen him win with John Walford. I mean, We've seen it all, right? It's different coming from Josh McDaniels and the Raiders to Sean McVay and the Rams.
I love that point. Absolutely.
Yeah, Jason, the Heat says that the fallout was the breaking point for his podcast.
Yeah. The fallout was the breaking point for his podcast. What was it?
Devontae Adams and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, okay, I got you. Absolutely. Yeah. No, that was my main question there. I was wondering how you were viewing the Devontae Adams if Stafford's there. And I was a guy that loved Jimmy Garoppolo when he came out of college. We've seen him take teams. I think he's got a bit of a unfair knock on him because the guy can produce. So if Stafford does miss times, to your point, if anyone is going to get the backup ready and the guy that's shown NFL talent like Garoppolo has, it's definitely Sean McVay. So I like the pick there for you. I was curious because I was kind of thinking about it there as well around that same area when I went wide receiver. So thank you for your thoughts.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm in your home state, man. I left the wedding early to be here for the love of the game. So I'm in a hotel room.
Where
Michigan.
are you at?
I am in Albion, Michigan.
Albion, there is a brewery there called Albion Malleable, and it is fantastic. You should go there.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, if you weren't like 2.5, 3 hours from my house, I'd join you tomorrow. But I ain't got that kind of time, Bryce.
I get it, man.
Absolutely love it. All right, we'll bring you back in a little bit. I don't know if he's here, but let's see if Cam's here. You think Cam's here? What do you think? Think he's actually there? Cam, are you
going to come on after the draft? I'm not
sure. Can you hear me?
Oh, there he is. Cam, you told me not to bring you on until after the draft because you couldn't focus, but I need to mess you up. So
I think I'm already messed up, and it's all good.
I love it. There is some talk of JSN not being able to handle the premium role. You took him number 2 overall. What's your take there, Cam?
I mean, I just liked him. I loved what he did last year. I think he is going to excel in that, premium role, as you said. I mean, I don't see them being a big drop off at quarterback. So I think he's definitely up. I mean, I think he might not have the highest ceiling, but he has a great floor. In other words, I think he's steady. And I think I try to play it safe, with
Sure.
this league.
Hey, let me ask you another question before you have to draft again, Cam. You just picked up Dalton Kincaid as, I don't know, like the 15th tight end off the board. This guy was being talked about as a top 5 tight end last year, and he just dropped all the way down to 15. Do you think it's unfair?
I think it's a little unfair. I think, he's a post hype type of guy, and this was a great draft class for rookie tight ends. So I think, between Warren and Loveland and even the guy with the Jets, Taylor, that he's falling. And since I got Josh Allen, I wanted to have him with Allen.
Fair enough. Well, you get to drafting, Cam. We'll check back in with you.
Alrighty, cool.
What are these guys doing here? They're getting me every time around the turn. First and second pick here. Mm-hmm. we just had Real on, and we talked about Chris Kennedy. I was hoping Michael Pittman Jr. or Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts is. I know he's a tight end, but I think he's wide receiver 2 in Atlanta. I think he has his best season as a pro this year. So after Pittman Jr. went off, I already got my board selected so I can go back to the mic and get ready to select Kyle Pitts. And then here comes Kennedy. We need to get Kennedy on the air here because, I've got a bone to pick.
Sadly, Kennedy lives in like Martha's Vineyard, and
Absolutely,
it's like one of the most beautiful places in the world. But some reason they have no internet. How do you feel about you live in Erie, Pennsylvania, and all accords, it's not as nice as Martha's Vineyard, but your internet's way better than his.
Oh, dude, we got some decent internet here, but let me tell you something, brother. we got a lot of wineries here as well, too. The Northeast Pennsylvania has so many great wines from a Niagara. We're right down the street from Niagara Falls. We're talking ice wine. We're talking breweries up the buzz. I mean, what do we got here at Erie, PA that nobody else has? But let's talk about this real quick, gentlemen. This draft has been off the hook. And not only has it been off the hook, and there's been swaying and slaying, there's been a lot of wildness going on, man. I am so jacked up. We have the comments going in right now. People are talking about Taylor for the tight end for the Jets. Dude, everybody's forgetting about him. If you're going to punt tight end this year, that is the player that you're going to pick in the last round. If that's your last pick and you're picking tight end, pick him because you're going to be happy. The only problem with that is you're going to have some touchdowns stolen by, of course, Mr. Fields.
All right. After I just complimented Heat on his internet.
Right. Man, I am ready. Right. I'm about to release. Yeah. All right, guys. You guys ready for the good news? You ready?
All right. What is it?
So since I started the Fight Club of Pain, which is a show on Thursdays live that covers the UFC, I have just secured an interview with a UFC fighter that won us all a lot of money a few weeks ago. In matter of fact, he actually won me 4 digits in winnings on that pay-per-view. So he's going to, I'm not going to mention it. I'm not going to say anything, but this is why going forward, UFC coverage on Dr. Roto is going to be massive. This year, I have not, if I get this interview, which it's practically we're talking right now, it's timing. He fights, I fight. So we're trying to work it out. If I get this interview, this is going to be 2 of the biggest interviews that any UFC podcast has had in their first year. And we're doing that at Dr. Roto, man. The wins, the bets, guys. I don't know if you know, but I'm ready to cook.
Nice.
You're always ready to cook. All right, Heat. I'm going to keep you on for just a minute. And I want to hear.
It's like Fuego Steve, bro.
Yeah. All right, buddy. You're chopping up a little bit, so I'm going to let you make your pick, and we'll come back.
You just complimented him on his internet, and then it starts chopping up. Like pride comes before the fall, Danger.
I know, man. It's terrible. It's terrible. So Lou, I just saw you put your head in your hands. Is that because Jayson Braddock sniped you again?
Yeah. But I had a backup. I don't know if you guys know this guy. His name's Dr. Roto.
Uh-huh.
Him and I were just chatting a little bit back and forth, and I was telling him I wanted Dak, and then as I'm making the May pick, he was like, "Take May. You have Henderson. Henderson's going to make a lot of catches there." So Doc was basically making my pick for me before I even did it.
Collusion.
Yeah, I got Greg May on like all 3 of my dynasty taxi squads, just sitting there ready to tag in when I'm done with Mahomes and Allen. So I dig that. Hey, let's talk about Tano Ram here. He just picked up Krosky, right, the darling of the preseason. I saw a report that he was going for anywhere on average, somewhere around 77% of fab was spent on him already since that game.
Oh, wow.
The our league that I have finished drafting already, that's fab, the guy put all 100% in on him. That's out of control, right? It's crazy, right?
Well, I think we have to tie it in with not only his success in the preseason, but I think the team coming out and basically saying this success is real when they say they're not playing Brian Robinson Jr. tonight because they don't want him to get injured because they're looking to shop him around to some different teams. So that tells you that what your eyes seeing, even in the preseason, the team's seeing and feeling the same way because they're willing to move Brian Robinson Jr. And so I think that definitely increases the value there of the young rookie back. While you get ready to make your pick, Danger, I know you got 2 coming up here to let you focus on that. I want to go to something else on Lou because Lou, Evan Ingram, I think he has an 80 catch season this year. I've been able to get him and Jonnu Smith in most best ball drafts I've been doing, going a little bit early. Thought that was a great pick for you there, and I thought it was a great pick for you to come back with Travis Etienne Jr. And whether it's in Jacksonville or if he gets traded, like I believe could be a possibility as well, because he might be in the last year of his contract, if I'm not mistaken. Tell me what you think about those two players, and I like the value you got there with each of them.
Well, firstly, thank you. Secondly, my favorite pick between those two and the next guy is actually Keon Coleman. I think Keon Coleman's going to be a star. I think he's going to be a star.
Completely agree.
Absolutely love him. But yeah, with Ingram, I've had Ingram almost every single year of his career. And I think he's going to be a lot more like he was 2 years ago in Jacksonville than we saw last year. So definitely love him as a receptions monster. And Etienne, I don't know what's going to be, right? Is he going to be in Jacksonville? Is he not? But I still think as an RB3, I could do a lot worse.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if he's in Jacksonville, we already know he's catching 45 plus receptions just off of what we saw how Liam Cohen used his back last year with two running backs, Bucky Irving and Rachaad White, each going over 45 catches last season. So if he's there in Jacksonville, LaQuint Allen Jr. probably loses some value, but because you have LaQuint Allen Jr. and a guy that Danger just drafted after going back-to-back running backs here later, Michelle Tootin, you have the possibility with Tank Bigsby to move Travis Etienne Jr., maybe getting a return on that investment and shedding that contract. So whether he's traded or he stays there, I think there's just value there. And I love what you said about Keon Coleman. I had a first-round grade on him headed into last year's NFL draft. So I think he's a legit talent. People were sleeping on him a little bit because of the 40 time. And I said, nah, I heard the same thing with Jarvis Landry when he came out, ran like a high 4.6, 4.7, 40. Throw that out the window. The film shows that this guy's a playmaker, and in Buffalo, he can easily be that wide receiver one.
Yeah, well, my next pick was going to be Trey Benson, but my boy Derek was all over that. So I'm up here in a pick now, or two picks. So I gotta get laser focused. But basically, Jason, also with Shakir dealing with some injuries, minor stuff, Coleman's gotten a lot of time on the field with Josh Allen. Josh Allen's been raving about him. So I already like the skill set. So now I'm just hoping year 1 to year 2 is a big jump for him.
Yeah, and they also played him out, didn't play him to his strengths last year, where you ask him to be that field stretcher, like similar to what we saw with Alec Pierce, and I think Rashad Bateman was another high yardage per catch guy. That's not Keon Coleman's strength. He goes up and gets the ball. He wins in his route runnings. You put that guy as an intermediate option, I definitely think he has a bigger breakout season with Buffalo.
Hey, Jason, just to put a bow in JCM, because I got a little distracted by having to make some picks. I'm not mad at Tano taking him for running back 4 on his squad.
Absolutely.
I just thought it was out of control that somebody would take 100 out of 100 fab and drop it on him before the season even starts.
Well, 100%. I mean, if you're shooting all your fab right there, that's a lot of belief, and I don't know how much of that's just in the moment belief, or how much of that's just actuality that you're really buying there. Oh, I got to get ready for a pick.
Oh, you do got to get ready for a pick. We're gonna get Jason's
danger. Maybe I missed. Maybe you answered it already and said it. In that league where someone dropped all their fab, what kind of league was it? Was it high stakes? Was it a big money type of league?
Yeah, it is a pretty high stake. It's a dynasty league. So, the fab's important, but guys, it's one preseason game. Guy could take a ACL next week and never see a day in the NFL. It's just hard for me to drop that kind of fab on that. So, I love him as a running back 4 for Tanoram. I think that's freaking great. Absolutely. Hey, we got another question here from Joey. He says he's got Dak, Kamara, Harvey, Nico, B-Take J, Hawkinson, and JSN as his flex, and the 12 team got flamed during the draft. Thoughts on this squad? He also has Judkins and Egbuka on the bench. I think it's good. I'm not a believer in Harvey, but I'm coming around now that I just heard Doc's a believer in Harvey. It's hard to discount what Doc says. But I dig that team, man. I think Hawkinson is due for a bounce back. I think JJ McCarthy is going to struggle, man. I don't buy into him at all. Doc likes him. I hate him. I live right here in Michigan. I watched him. I don't think he's that good. I think that team's hype around him led him to the draft pick he got. But he's probably going to end up having to be a dump-off quarterback for the first year, and that probably feeds into Hawkinson. I'm a little more worried about JSN than the next guy because I think that he is a complimentary wide receiver that needs a big target guy drawn from him, but I could be wrong, and I do like Sam Darnold, so I ain't mad at it, Joey. I ain't mad at it. All right, give me the scoop, Jason. Did I mess up taking Nick Chubb? I mean, he's going to start the season probably as running back 1, and he's going to get me some points for a week.
A week ago, I would have said yes. And I don't want to get too carried away with just a couple preseason snaps, but he looked much better in the limited preseason action we saw this past weekend. And so when you got Woody Marks, who's more of a receiving back, I mean, this guy, 4 out of 5 seasons in college, he had 45 plus receptions. His first 2 years in college, he had an insane 140 receptions. But he's a little bit too much gas. He did show a play there where he was able to let off the gas a little bit, let a play develop, but I think he still needs to develop a little bit more. So like you said, if we're going into the season now, and if Joe Mixon's still not 100%, Nick Chubb is that running back 1 for him. But I think the Texans could definitely trade for a veteran running back. You look at Devin Singletary with the Giants, who just fell off a cliff last year. They've got the other rookie they brought in behind Tyrone Tracy. Dante Miller showed well here in the preseason. So I definitely think they could go and trade Devin Singletary back to Houston, who tried to re-sign him before he left for a little bit more money to go to the Giants. I would say Travis Etienne Jr. would be a guy, but I doubt the Jaguars would trade him in division to the Texans to help him out. But I think that would just be a home run trade right there for the Texans. So if no trade is made, yeah, it's Nick Chubb's job to lose. And I know people might say, well, what about Dameon Pierce? Last year of his rookie contract, just like Brian Robinson Jr., I think he could definitely get traded just like John Mechie just did with him going into his last year. So Brian Robinson Jr., I mean, there's another guy, same draft as Dameon Pierce. I don't know if they were high on him or not that year, but that's another guy that a veteran running back the Texans could trade for. But Nick Chubb, just off of limited action, I had written him off because he has been injured 4 of the last 5 seasons, but he looked better than what I expected. And again, it was limited action, so I cautiously say that.
All right, I'm going to bring Trevor in here in a minute, but let me talk to you real quick. We've seen some real veterans go off here in a couple of spots. You got Chris Godwin, who just can't seem to stay healthy, but just otherworldly talent when he is healthy. You got Keenan Allen going back to LA. That's pretty exciting. And you've got, again, like another kind of ageless man in Adam Thielen. What do you think of these 3 veterans?
Run that by. I was getting ready to make a selection. My fault there.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I saw you there. I'm talking about Chris Godwin trying to stay healthy and how good he is when he is healthy. And I'm talking about Keenan Allen going home, and I'm talking about Adam Thielen. Both guys coming to the sunset times. Any love for them?
Well, yeah, so I joked a little bit when Mike Williams signed with the Chargers, and I said, you go back to the team you started with when you're at the end of your career and you're ready to retire and have your swan song, and then shortly after that, Mike Williams retires, and then they go and do it again with Keenan Allen. So I don't think we see, and it's perfect timing for the question because I just took the rookie from the Chargers, Trey Harris. I think Trey Harris and the other rookie, I can't believe, I think his name's Kendall Lambert Smith, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not messing that up. He's actually had just as good, if not a better preseason than Trey Harris has. But I think each of those guys are going to factor into the mix. And so I don't expect huge things from Keenan Allen, probably around 30 to 45 type reception season, but definitely not one of the high volume seasons you've seen in the past. You got Ladd McConkey that you took in the first round. He's wide receiver 1. I think Keenan will get in there as that veteran slot guy. And I think Trey Harris and Kendall Lambert Smith will factor in. I'm not sure how serious the Quentin Johnston injury was, but I think he could even be passed up by the 2 rookies after he was passed up by Ladd McConkey last year.
Interesting. Well, I'm going to get Trevor back in here when he comes back at some point.
Lou took the Texans defense.
I'm going to talk to Trevor for a minute. Trevor, you and me, we're going to have some words here, I think, because you're a Viking, and let's put this in the air, okay? Look, I am a diehard Michigan State Spartan fan, so maybe my hatred of JJ McCarthy comes from their cheating asses in Ann Arbor, but I don't buy it, man. I didn't like him as a college quarterback that much. I thought that he was propped up by a special offense with special coaches, stealing signs. So I just don't see it, man. Come on, tell me. Come on. It's a homer pick, isn't it? Come on.
He's got the best weapons in football, top 3 weapons in football, and he's got one of the top quarterback coaches in football. Seattle's going to find out pretty quickly how Sam Darnold is going to screw him very quickly.
I like Darnold more. Side bet, Trevor?
Well, it's easy to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson. You watch the replay of the Atlanta game last year. He throws the ball up there, and Atlanta defensive backs are just falling down. And he throw for 350 yards and 5 touchdowns. They're falling down. Justin Jefferson and Addison. There's not a guy 15 yards. I could have made those throws.
Fair enough. McCarthy profited by a cheating offense. He's a cheater.
What's the side wager? Who throws for more touchdowns? I mean, I think it's Justin. I think it's God, I got my JJs mixed up here.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be JJ.
We'll work on that after the show. We'll work on that. We'll get
okay. Sounds good.
All right, Jason, Lou, come on. Let's talk real. What's your thoughts on JJ McCarthy? Is he going to work because he's got Jefferson to throw to?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've got Jefferson working back from injury. I think he'll be fine. Jefferson's already shown that he's quarterback proof, so his stock's fine. Jordan Addison missing a couple games is concerning. We'll see Jalen Naylor step up because it really gets thin after that. I know you got the rookie Ty Felton, if I'm not mistaken. So I think McCarthy, I'm going to disagree with you on this, Danger. I do like J.J. McCarthy. I think he has the accuracy there. And I think
it's fine.
I think Kevin O'Connell, really, we were talking earlier about Sean McVay with quarterbacks. The same can be said about Kyle Shanahan with quarterbacks. And I think Kevin O'Connell's the latest one that we throw in that mix with those two guys, that once you have a quarterback, that makes you a little bit more of a believer that they're going to get max value from those guys. So I'm buying on J.J. McCarthy this year. I want to go back to Lou. I think this was a revenge pick by Lou. After I took Dak Prescott 2 rounds ago, he comes and takes the Texans defense here. I'm not as big on the Texans as most people are for this year. I think they could actually lose the AFC South to the Jaguars or even the Colts. Kind of really depends how that quarterback situation shakes out there. Does Anthony Richardson take a step forward? Can Daniel Jones kind of get back to what he showed earlier in his career? I have questions, obviously, concerning both of those quarterbacks. But as far as the Texans defense, I have no concern. That defense is just going to be a beast this year. And in our scoring format, it was a team that I really targeted. I thought I could get another round or two, and then Luke comes up and snipes it right after me there.
You know, Jason, for one, yeah, I have the Texans as the number 3 defense in fantasy. I think one of Philly or Denver is going to be 1-2. And then after that, I have the Texans. And quite frankly, I just didn't love any of the position players where I was going. Right. And I figured, why not take one of the top defenses and maybe get an edge that way. So no, there actually was no revenge there as much as it was just, they were sitting there. I like them. And, sometimes in the draft, I'm usually a guy that takes defense in the last 2-3 rounds where I get my kicker. But this was one of those times where I thought that taking the Texans would, I'm going to zig when everyone's zagging, whatever it might be.
Oh, and a nice pick with the Tyler Kraft there. Surprised to see him available this late. You got Romeo Doubs, who's been dealing. I love Romeo Doubs. I love his route run and everything else. Has struggled a little bit with the drops. The receiving corps struggled with injuries and drops last year as well. I think Matthew Golden will become wide receiver 1 this year, but Tucker Kraft just continues to be, that guy, for them. So I think that's a great value.
And I think it's very dependent on, how you like to play, how you like to draft. But at this point, to me, a guy like Tucker Kraft is much more valuable to take than a wide receiver 3 on some other team.
Oh yeah, I mean, with the flex position in this draft, to have Evan, there'll be weeks where you can actually have Evan Ingram and Tyler Kraft, go in there and produce at high levels for you.
I'm gonna probably have to at some point, and I like that he's got that early buy too.
Right.
Absolutely love it. Hey, all my friends in the green room, the staff and friends at drroto.com, don't worry. We're going to bring, if you want to stick around, I would love to have everybody stick around after the draft and take time to break down your team with Lou and Jason, as long as everybody's still, awake and ready to rumble. That would be awesome. Bryce, it's only an hour and 15 minutes actually out there. So, if you get a knock on your hotel room at like 8:15 in the morning, it could be danger. Never know. Anyways, can we talk about the great Swame here? He has been on auto pick. I would like to think that he had set up some stuff. I don't know. These guys are working, right? Everybody here has got a day job. Nobody here is a solo fantasy sports person. But what do you think of his team? If it is truly auto pick, how did it do? I mean, he's paired up Mahomes and Kelsey. He's got Bijan. He's got Cook, which is solid. If Tyreek Hill wants to prove he's still the man, he could. Ridley could be number 1 in Tennessee. I love Jordan Reed. And 1, he's a touchdown machine. 2, or Jalen Reed, sorry. He's a touchdown machine. 2, he's a Spartan. So I love that. What do you think of that auto-drafted team, Jason?
Yeah, so I think at wide receiver, as far as the auto draft, I think it did him pretty decent there. But when we look at that wide receiver,
guys, I do think he was here at one point. I saw that little circle beside his name. So I think he missed the Bijan pick, but I think he made a bunch of the picks up until I think maybe Murray or the Eagles.
I like the Calvin Ridley pick. Tyreek, this guy could actually be traded. I mean, if you're seeing all the smoke there and we're reading the tea leaves, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw Tyreek Hill get traded. I mean, he's always been a malcontent. And when he was playing at such a high level, the Chiefs were willing to move on from him. Calvin Ridley, I think, has been definitely undervalued this offseason. I know you have a rookie quarterback, but he's the main weapon there. He should have a bounce back year after being on such a decline since 2020. But Jaden Reed, I mean, is he going to be wide receiver 3? Is he going to be 2? It depends how that shakes out. And then Darnell Mooney, who's injured right now, when is he back and healthy there? And I think Kyle Pitts will actually be the number 2 guy there, even though he's a tight end. And also, we could say number 3, I should say, because you got to factor in Bijan Robinson.
So, but he also has guys in Kelsey and Goddard that can put up really serious numbers. So,
that's fair point. Absolutely fair point.
So I think it did him all right. I mean, we talked about Brian Robinson being injured and maybe getting traded on. So I think his real problem is going to be finding running back depth. He's going to have to be active on that waiver wire to find that wide receiver depth. All right, one more team. I know that Chris Kennedy is drafting, but his internet is not doing well. So let's talk about him a little bit here. We went with Gibbs in the first. He went with A.J. Brown and Marvin Harrison Jr. There's a lot of hate for A.J. Brown this year. Is it warranted, or is he going to come off of last year's kind of disappointing season from where he was drafted?
No, I like A.J. Brown. I mean, I think they've got a better depth there with the Eagles this year. You trade John Mechie, Jahan Dotson in year 2. You have Johnny Wilson and Nia Smith also in year 2. And I didn't like Johnny Wilson at all. I thought he might have to make a transition to the tight end position because his hands were so bad in college. But in limited preseason action, I mean, he looks like he's really growing year over year and was not only making catches, but he's making difficult catches and using his size, like 6'6" size, going up and catching up on dudes' heads. So it seems like he's really taking a step forward. Anaya Smith's a guy who I thought should have been drafted a couple rounds earlier than where he went in last year's NFL draft. So that's a guy I like a lot. And then they trade for John Mechie. So they really got like 6 guys there. So that position should be improved, and that could pull away a little bit. But A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are going to be your top tier guys in Dallas Goedert as well.
You're talking about A.J. Brown drafted 213, right? I mean, that's mid-3rd round in a 12-team draft. I mean, that's value if he steps up and plays.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I don't have any issue. I think A.J. Brown, if you look at last year, I know Nico misses a lot of games, Nico Collins, but Nico Collins and A.J. Brown were basically about the same guy last year, statistically speaking. And so with all the how much Nico's been pushed up, even though he misses about 3 or 4 games a year his entire career, and how much A.J. Brown's been pushed down, and we're talking about on a Super Bowl team. Yes, some of those other guys might pull up some targets away from them, but I think A.J. Brown's definitely the value between him and Nico Collins.
I love it. And then in the 4th round, he picks up George Kittle. George, obviously, I'm a Homer 49ers fan. But there's nobody to throw to on that team. I mean, the guy could step up his target value. The only issue with George Kittle is he is such an unbelievable, phenomenal blocker. He just doesn't get the opportunities to be a 90 target tight end. But I like him. Jameson Williams, he keeps in his own head. He's going to have another good year. And then let's talk about Judkins. I almost went with Judkins over Tracy at the turn before that, because I just believe that dude's insanely talented. But it just has this, suspension possibly hanging over his head. I personally think that he loses the first 4 games of next year. But who knows what happens.
Yeah, that's the big question mark. So, we talk a lot of time in fantasy about having to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And so kudos who had the, what's the word I'm looking for, Danger? They had the courage. I'll go with that.
Yes,
to pull the trigger there. It's like, I play a lot of poker. So it's like you've got all these outs. You're playing PLO, pot limit Omaha, and the pot sun grew big. And somebody pots right in front of you. You have all these outs, but you have no hand. You beat right now, but you've got so many cards that can come. It's having that courage to take your whole stack and saying, all right, pot, and going in on that move, hoping that card's going to come, because there's no guarantee, even with a ton of outs. And I think that's what you're doing with Judkins there for this analogy, because the team, you drafted Jaden Higgins. And the reason that ties in with Judkins is because he got the first fully guaranteed contract of 2nd-round picks. So that made the whole process of signing 2nd-round picks take longer and linger there. And so the Browns are saying, we might not even sign this guy to a contract until we know what the NFL is going to do. And even though the case was thrown out, we've seen them before go ahead and go out there and punish guys that had their case thrown out. So it's definitely something where you're taking some risk. But I think he plays this year. And if he does play, the talent is evident, and he's going to have a monster year. So, I mean, it could be the steal of the draft.
I like it. And then he rounded up, obviously we talked about his other running backs. We talked about Zach Charbonnet, who I think actually fits that, at least last year's offense, better than Walker did. Walker's just a beast. Dobbins, who is honestly, he's a special running back talent when his knees hold together.
Absolutely.
We got Pitts, which we already said we think, is an excellent pick this year. And then there was an injury concern, right, with Kyle Williams in New England. I didn't see all of that. I just kind of read it today when I was looking at some updates.
Yeah, there's a ton of depth in New England. You got the young rookie wide receiver Efton Chisholm III. I think his granddad was on the island with Gilligan and them. And so I'm probably showing my age with that reference, but and then you've got the 2 rookies from last year. They're kind of like an afterthought right now with Javon Baker and Jalen Polk. You also have I think it's Mac Hollins is there. Stephon Diggs you bring in. Demario Douglas, who's kind of been a forgotten guy that is a contributor every year. And I feel like I'm still leaving out guys. So there's Keyshawn Butte. So there's so much depth and talent there that it makes you question there with the rookie Kyle Williams. And so it'll be interesting to see if he can cut out a role for himself.
It would have been really funny if Chris Kennedy would have taken, instead of Trevor Lawrence, if he would have taken J.J. McCarthy and Sam Darnold just to continue the conversation that Trevor and I were having. That'd have been great. Hey, so I ended up taking the 49ers defense. They get their defensive coordinator back after a failed stint of a head coach, and hopefully some health back. Maybe it'll be good. Who cares about defenses? And then I went ahead and took your advice, Jason, and I picked up Noel, and I'll just let it play out. We'll see if Higgins is the guy or Noel's the guy.
Right. I like it.
Drop the other one.
I'm gonna go ahead and get my defense here. And I haven't done a ton of research. For those who are heading over to drroto.com, I know Heat, and there's probably some other guys who write on defenses, but I know Heat goes really in depth with IDP leagues and on defense as well. I wish I would have read some of his work before this, as far as the defenses before this. But I have my mind 100% set that I was getting the Texans defense. I let Lou snipe me there, so hat tip to Lou for that, because I think he just got a monster. And in this scoring format, that Texans defense is going to win Lou some weeks. I mean, I just think they're going to be a beast the way they create turnovers. But I went with the Packers. The main reason is there's a guy I thought was easily a first-round pick last year that slid to them in the second round. Linebacker Edgerrin Cooper is just an absolute beast. Him solely alone has me taking the Packers defense here as my pivot from the Texans a couple rounds later. And I hate that I have to pick a kicker. I haven't played in a kicker league outside of this in years. I'm almost tempted to just omit kicker and get one after the draft, look at my roster, maybe cut up.
That's what I did last year, Jason. I waited until right before week 1 so I could get another potential stash.
Yeah, I think that's probably where I'm at now. I love with me getting Achane earlier. This is the first draft I got him in. Ollie Gordon is a guy that is so far under the radar. Forget Jalen Wright.
I love Ollie Gordon. My only rookie draft so far in Dynasty, he was my 5th rounder, my last pick, and I am super pumped. I think he's awesome.
The second stock has gone up so much for me since the preseason and training camp has begun. They had Alexander Madison. They wanted to be that short yardage goal line back. Unfortunately, he had the severe neck injury. He's out for the year. Jalen Wright, Tyreek Hill even came out and commented that they don't have a short yardage goal line back, and they do. It's Ollie Gordon the second. Not only on top of that, with Achane being banged up and not filling that role, Ollie Gordon II may finish this year with plus 40% of the touches there, and I think he'll finish the year as running back 2 for the Miami Dolphins over Jalen Wright.
Very interesting. So we can talk about our teams real quick, and then when the draft's over, we can start talking to these guys and let them get out of here. On the wheel, when you were talking, Jason, I went ahead. I mean, man, how many rookies do I have? I think I have 6 now. Nice. Picked up Io Manor and Pat Bryant in Denver. Both guys that Doc loves as late round sleepers. I probably have too many late round sleepers. Let me see. What do I got? I got Johnson, Higgins, Tootin, Io Manor, Bryant, and then Knoll. Yeah, I probably have a few too many of the sleepers. I got a little tipsy on the sleepers, but we all know we're going to burn and churn the bottom of our bench, right? So you might as well take a shot on some of these guys and see how they finish up the season.
Absolutely.
I'm okay with the team. I got a lot of young talent. We'll see how it trades out, and we'll see how we're there. Lou, how you feeling about your team, sir?
Honestly, I really only like it since Evan Ingram. I don't love my first 5 picks, but I like what I did afterwards. So we'll have to see.
You got Worthy there.
Last year I was more confident following the draft, and for the first half of the season I was the best team, and then things started falling apart. So this year I was more focused on my depth, and I think I did a good job of that. So we'll see how it goes as the season progresses.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Worthy. I mean, he really seems to be fitting into that speedster role. Rice possibly screws his head on right this year. Maybe, possibly. I mean, the dude's got all-world talent, really. When you watch him, he just got to keep his head in the game, man.
He's awesome, Rice, when he's on the field. Amazing.
Yeah.
I think Kelsey's going to continue to take steps back. So
no, it's true. Yeah.
In that
he's
regard,
probably getting married at some point here soon. He's got a lot on his plate, right?
Yeah.
I don't know much about Monagai. I'm not going to lie. And I like your James pick in the 49ers. I think any running back in a stash spot that you can hold in the Kyle Shanahan offense is gold. He does not share the ball, period. If CMC is healthy, he'll carry 95% of the touches. If he's out and Guendo is healthy, Guendo takes 95%. He doesn't share the ball. So anytime you can stash any running back on The 49ers are okay with me. And you just took the pick I was going to take, Lou, instead of a kicker in Tesla.
Nice.
Yes, son of a gun.
You know, you got to say it more snobby. Like it's not just mustard. It's Grey Poupon. It's not a Tesla. It's Tesla.
It's Tesla. No, it's true. It's true. It's true. All right, Jason, your team is now complete. How do you feel about it? Talk to me a little bit about Dallas. I picked up Javonte Williams. You picked up Mr. Blue. How do you feel that's going to play out?
Yeah, I haven't been a Javonte Williams fan since he came out in college. I thought he was overhyped coming out in the draft that year. Got the second round pick, so they kept forcing it. You know, use a second round pick on a running back. You want to keep forcing that issue. Towards the end of last year, he got forced out in Denver. I mean, they were going Audric Estime. They were going with different guys in that backfield. And so the Cowboys, I don't know what their thought process is in the backfield with guys. I thought they let a better guy leave, Enrico Dowd, after and investing in him and developing him for so many years. You let him go to Carolina and bring in Miles Sanders from Carolina, who hasn't been a thing in about 3 or 4 years. Javonte Williams on the decline. But what I thought they did do good was the 2 rookies they drafted in the NFL draft this year. With Jaden Blue, I think it's not if, but when he becomes a top back for the Cowboys this year. Phil Maffa, if they can keep him, he's not, he's not the most elusive, but this guy can get you short yardage, goal line carry. So I would move on from Miles Sanders out of camp and go into the season with Javonte Williams and both rookies, Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa. And it's just a matter of time before Jaden Blue moves ahead of Javonte Williams, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm hoping Javonte, and we'll let Lou finish this because he is the Cowboy resident fan here.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping Javonte gets the start for the first few weeks and can fill in some points for me. I could be wrong. You guys might know better, but I feel like there were some issues with contract incentives in Denver, and so they didn't want him to touch the ball.
That I can't speak to. What I can speak to is that no Dallas running back is going to be exciting for anybody this season. Someone's going to get the football because they have to run the football, and Dak's not dropping back 80 times. But that's why I love the Dak Prescott pick.
But Lou, Dak might drop back 80 times.
Yes, I guess it's possible. But that's why I love the Dak pick, Jason, because they just don't have a running game.
Right.
And this also isn't the Cowboys' offensive line of 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They used to be really beefy up front. They got a lot of holes now. Zach Martin's gone. I mean, I don't think they can run the ball. So it doesn't matter, even if they had a talented back behind them.
Right.
I don't think they can run the football.
All right, Gig.
Javonte will probably get those first few starts, though. Danger. I will say that.
I'm hoping
I'd
so.
be surprised if he did.
So here's the deal. Our draft is complete. We've lost a few people. It's getting late on the East Coast, of course. So we'll probably put a bow in this. I want to remind anybody listening that Dr. Roto is live on the air at SiriusXM in about 10 minutes or so for the next few hours. And he is going to talk about this board. So if you want to hear him make fun of Danger for a solid 10 minutes, please tune in to SiriusXM Fantasy. I notoriously draft awful in these things. Big shout out and thanks
Danger,
for carrying.
I'm sorry to cut you off,
Appreciate
but you brought up Doc talking about this draft. I will definitely be talking about this draft over the weekend as well.
Oh, yes, you'll be on as well. Tell us when.
Yeah. Saturday, I'm filling in for Doc this weekend. He's taking his son to college. So Saturday, Sunday, 8 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Eastern. One of those days we will be talking about this draft for sure. And Jason, I'm sure when you come on Sunday, I will at the very least ask you about this draft.
We'll talk about it as well. All right, real quick, guys in the green room, please. Trevor, replay. Derek, do any of you have to run right away and you'd like to get on right now? Raise your hand if you do. No, we're good. All right, let's go ahead and just bring in Replay Real. How about that? He was in our #1 slot. You have finished up. Let's see. What did you not take? You didn't take a defense. Did you just feel like, screw it, they're all gone, I'll deal with that later?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to figure that out come here about 2 days before the season kicks off.
Sounds accurate. Sounds accurate. Tell us about your team. Did it finish out well? We talked to you right after you took Ricky Pearsall. And after that, you took Mr. Pittman. You took Jake Ferguson, Jerome Ford, the rookie Sampson. You got Tillman. You got Marks. I'm going to be honest, Jason, I don't know who that is. And then you finished with Miles Sanders in Dallas. How did you feel about the end?
I like the end. I like the beginning better. Naturally, I think we all probably do, but I do like having the entire red zone for the Dallas Cowboys. That helps out a lot. And then a little bit of a revenge pick there with Ford Simpson. He got Dobbins there. Kennedy got Dobbins. Hey, I've got most of the backfield in Cleveland right now, so we'll see what happens to Junkins there. Gosh, I need him for other teams though. Tillman, I like him with Flacco. I think in general he's probably one of the best receivers there they've got. So I mean, let's go with that. And then the last part, Woody Marks. Love the name, love the text on it. Pass catching guy, PPR. He'll earn a third down role. We'll see what happens. McPherson, Money Mac, got to follow it up with. I need every point I can get right with the Bengals at this point. And then Sanders, I think that was actually a timed out pick there. But hey, week 3 could be the starting running back. So for Dallas,
or the first one to drop for your defense, one or the other.
Yeah, no defense. I will. Yeah, probably most likely one of those bottom couple running backs there. Yeah.
I like it. Hey, Michael Pittman, he flashed quite a bit a couple years back and has basically been a little injured and kind of, getting overshadowed by Downs and also unbelievably terrible quarterback play for the most part when Richardson touches the ball. Jason, Lou, what do you think about Mr. Pittman here this year? I mean, he's fallen really late.
Yeah, that was an area I was actually considering Michael Pittman Jr. there because, and I think his value is quarterback dependent, meaning that the way he runs routes, this isn't a speed guy that's creating massive windows. You're going to need a guy that can put pinpoint accuracy within 15 yards. So I think his value's boosted if Daniel Jones is named the starting quarterback, and it's probably hurt a little bit if it's Anthony Richardson, to where a guy like Alec Pierce, who averaged 22 yards a catch last year, probably has more value with Anthony Richardson as a quarterback. So if it's Daniel Jones, and I was kind of leaning towards that, I like Michael Pittman Jr. there. But like you mentioned, Danger, banged up all last year, hurt a little bit in camp this year. Big question is, can he stay healthy? And if it is Richardson, can he get him the ball consistently?
True enough. I think Heat told you to take the Giants in week 1. I don't think they're going to be a super good squad, but they pressure the quarterback extremely well, and sacks get us points. So, so we like that. And I think he said dude had 111 targets. I think he's talking about Pittman on his breakout year. That's a lot of targets. So, but total different squad. Who knows what will happen there. Well, I appreciate your time, Replay. Thanks for kicking my ass.
Great draft, and appreciate you joining us. I mean, I really like your draft. You got me a couple times during the draft.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Braddock, always like listening to you. Lou, same. Danger. Thanks to everybody at drroto.com.
And I truly hope that you don't follow Taylor Ram's lead and win the staff league this year. It's going to be very embarrassing for us. I'd appreciate it if you didn't. Thank you.
We'll table that right now.
All right, buddy. Bang, bang.
Out, guys. Yep.
Thanks. All right, let's bring Derek in. He said he's got to take off here in a minute, so we'll bring Mr. Derek in. Derek, you drafted right in front of me in most of the rounds. So are you a Christian McCaffrey believer, or are you I got him as the 13th pick, and if he's actually healthy, he could pay off?
I'd say the second option there. My draft is going to hinge on whether those 2 running backs I took early are able to put up the points. Like Lou, I kind of like my draft a little bit later on as opposed to what I did early. But I do think that Christian McCaffrey, as is, if you believe the word, is looking real good, looking real sharp. He's going to be a lot of that offense out in San Francisco. So I do like the pick. I think it was really more of he was the one there after the running backs and the other big time receivers were off the board. I like the PPR value there. So hopefully he sticks. The only knock, at least in terms of other than the injury, is that I possibly could have looked to handcuff him a little bit later in the draft. But if you've read any of my stuff, I'm not real big on the handcuffs. I don't think all handcuffs are plug and play. And I rather went opportunity as opposed to cuffing them up.
Yeah, I think handcuffs are really, at this point in the world of fantasy football, is a best ball thing. You want to make sure that if you got a powerful offense, you get the person that could step in. I'm not the biggest. I've actually been handcuffing wide receivers this year a lot more. looking for that guy that's number 3 and deep in drafts. And if I'm not sure, kind of like Noel and Higgins, or shall I maybe say Bryant or Franklin, which I did just today. I'm with you on that. No, I like it, man. I mean, Kamara, there's nobody else there. I mean, you can say that he's wore out. You can say that he's not as quick as he was before, but I don't like the rest of that backfield. So,
I agree with that. Kendre Miller I got to be the next guy up, but he's had trouble staying on the field. Edwards-Helaire, I'm not really worried about Edwards-Helaire in terms of running backs down the line. So it's really Kamara, but it boils down to who they have under center, whether that's Shao or Spencer Rattler. That offensive line is brutal, so I think we've got an uphill battle there. But Kamara, I mean, he shot out of the gate last year and was putting up 35, 40 points a week in PPR leagues. So hopefully we can catch some of that magic and roll around, because I like some of the potential I have at the running back position later on, but until that turns into consistent carries, I got to attach to those 2 horses I drafted early.
Well, a couple of things. I got, I like your selection of Baker Mayfield as maybe the 9th or 10th quarterback off the board. I think Baker for the next several years, as long as he's got the talent that they keep drafting at wide receiver, is going to keep finishing, QB 5 or 6 quietly. No one ever talks about him. And that also allowed you to take a shot on your homer boy, Caleb Williams, later on in the draft. So if he turns out to have the year you think he is, you can either trade or just offload, Mayfield later on. And I like that. And then Jayson, he threw a little shade in the chat saying that Wright was better than Gordon.
Oh, I mean, I think it will play out this year. And I mean, you might be, I think one thing, I don't attach ego to this because I've been proven wrong so many times before. I mean, if you play this for any amount of time, you're going to have strong opinions, but you're going to be proven wrong at times. But I'm definitely going to take Ollie Gordon the second over Jalen Wright this year. But I will say I love how he finished the draft. I like both of the quarterback picks. I think Judy's value's boosted with Joe Flacco being named the starter. I think he's a guy that can consistently get him the ball. Jacoby Myers is clearly the number 1 after Brock Bowers, if we're not tying in the tight end. And then getting Benson and Shipley behind 2 backs. I don't think people realize how much workload James Conner has had in his career, and I think he's now a 30-year-old back. We talked about Saquon Barkley's workload last year, so I think the Benson and Shipley picks are definitely insane value. And then getting Torrey Horton at the end of the draft there. And I mean, you're talking about a guy that's going to be an instant contributor in a PPR league is going to have value there. And then Xavier Legette's a guy that it hasn't clicked for yet, but he has so much talent. If they can just get on the same page in Carolina, and now this year, as opposed to last year, you have Ted McMillan taking attention away from him. You've got a 3 guys, capable backs in the backfield. Jatavion Sanders is going to be better in year 2, and then Adam Thielen even to take attention away from him. So Xavier Legette is primed to break out and have a much better sophomore season.
And there's no one more fun to listen to in a post-game interview than that thick Cajun accent.
Well, it's not. So I'm from South Carolina originally, and so there's a part in South Carolina down by Charleston where they speak Geechee, and so that's completely authentic. And he's from Mullen, so humble brag here. Preseason basketball, I'll still mention it. Before the regular season kicked off my junior year, I dropped 17 points in 1 quarter in Mullen. So that's my Al Bundy moment where he scored 4 touchdowns for Polk High.
Okay.
I love it. Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you, Derek. It was fantastic having you on. Lou, did you need something? You good? All right. Derek, I really appreciate you, all the work you do for the site, and good luck this year.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Derek.
Thanks.
All right, who shall we go? Heat, you're saving for last. You know it, Heat. I can't bring you on. I gotta wait for last. You know it. I'm gonna bring Trevor on. All right, Trevor, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, he's getting his mic set. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I think I made one mistake in the draft. If I had to do it back again, I think I would skip on Bowers in the second round and taking Taylor Achane. I'm really high on Tyrone Tracy, and I didn't think there was any way in hell he was going to go as quick as he did as you took him. I've done I've done 30 some drafts, and this is the earliest Tyrone Tracy has gone in any draft. I was set to take him that wrong. I thought there was no way he was going to go, and sure enough, you took him. So that kind of put a crank in my plans. I was happy to get Joe Mixon where I got him. I know he's hurt right now, but to have him as a bench player as late as I have, I don't need him to start right away. So if he gets back in week 2 or 3, I think I got him at really good value there. I like McMillan. I mean, I'm not. My team's not flashy. I'm high on the Panthers more than most people. I've got Young, Hubbard, and Tet. That's going to be make or break it. Maybe if I was playing in a 350 high stakes league, I probably wouldn't maybe not have that build. But for the staff league, I think I can go with that build. And Garrett Wilson, he's just the guy that's there. He's not. He's got more talent than probably what his fantasy value is going to be. But if somehow Fields can get the job done, Shakir was a mistake pick. I thought I was picking Diggs, but since I was at work and looking at something else, I wanted. But I'm not so upset with Shakir because you're going to get 10 to 12 points from him every week, maybe 15 if he scores a touchdown. So you got some type of floor. And then I went with my homer picks with Vikings and Riker.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, hey, Trevor, look, I asked these guys early on in the show before the draft started for sleeper best ball teams. And I think you hit it on the head with Carolina. They could totally bust out, but you're going to be the only one on them if you stack 3 or 4 of those guys in the best ball tournament.
In most of my best ball leagues, like I've done a lot of them, and not a lot of high stake ones, just the smaller dollar ones, because I just like drafting. So I'm kind of addicted to drafting, and I'll get in a lot of $25 to $50 ones, and a lot of them I've stacked the Panthers and the Jaguars in a lot of them, because you can get Brian Thomas. I like to play the KDS style where I'm drafting late in the second round. And I can get Brian Thomas and then start the third round. And then I usually start with Thomas or one of those other top receivers like Drake London. If not, I've been going with Chase Brown. So if I can start with those 2 and most of my best balls and then start the third round with another higher pick, I'm pretty happy with that. But in this one, I probably shouldn't have taken Bowers where I took him in a 14-team league because the running backs just got thinner than I should have known they were going to get really thin. But the Tracy pick really bothers
me. Sorry about that. I can't help it. Well, I appreciate you, Trevor. I will probably join you quite a bit this year on the Wednesday night show that we do with Doc, late night, 9 p.m. Eastern, taking an early look at DFS and you forcing me to learn how to become a 150 lineup guy. I didn't think I'd ever be that guy, but I did last year, and it might happen.
It worked very well for me last year in DFS. It's the first year I've really went with it, and then once I built a bankroll, then I started going into a lot of lineups, and then if the Philadelphia Eagles, if they would have just ran the clock out in the Super Bowl, I would have won $291,000. Ooh. I still have nightmares over that. But I think I did pretty good last year. And another note, I will be on with Doc in an hour.
I love it. Awesome. All right. Well, say nice things about me. I appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure I will.
He's going to make fun of me for taking Tracy from him. I know it. I can feel it. All right. We'll talk to you soon, Trevor.
I think it responded well after the Tracy pick with that Joe, like he mentioned on Joe Mixon. You get a guy there come out. I mean, you're talking about a starting running back. Yeah, everything's about the question. You have to take a little bit of risk there, but for him to wait on running back similar to you, Danger, and then to be sniped for the Tracy pick, he responds with Aaron Jones, a starter, and then you come back 2 rounds later and get Joe Mixon. If Joe Mixon can't stay healthy, and I mean, I don't know how serious the injury is. There's no news coming out on it. And so if he can come back and stay healthy, you get Joe Mixon that late in your draft after waiting 3 rounds to take your first running back before that. I mean, I think it worked out perfect for him.
He did, yeah. I mean, he's got the senior circuit definitely on those 2 guys, and but if they hold, I mean, Joe Mixon is a boss as long as he's healthy. He's been his whole career.
Right, absolutely.
So, anywho, all right, let's go to Mr. Cam. Sorry, you know it. You're waiting till the end. Sorry, buddy. Mr. Cam, how did you feel you did there, buddy? You were feeling good.
Yeah, I feel like I had a pretty good draft. It's funny because with the third pick, I didn't think I'd have a choice right off the bat. I figured, well, Chase, Barkley, and Bijan are probably going to be 1, 2, 3 in some form, thinking Gibbs would go fourth. And then Gibbs goes second. So I'm like, oh, geez, now I do have to choose between Barkley and Bijan. So I went with the guy that, I think Bijan could have more upside, and I understand the workload that Barkley had last year, and I certainly don't expect him to duplicate it. But defending Super Bowl champs, he's a stud. You can't go wrong there, I didn't think. And, you had mentioned Najigba earlier, and in this 14-teamer, I mean, when you think about it, we've always done 10 or 12. I've got 23 picks in between, a pick, after that turn. So I'm like, geez, he's already the 11th, he was the 11th wide receiver taken. So I'm like, if I don't take him there, I'm really going to have to, go down the bat handle. So I like him as the number one wide receiver for Seattle this year. And, and then I'm always looking at, bye weeks and trying to make sure that there's no duplication there. Can't go wrong with Josh Allen, the defending the defending MVP in the third round, I'm thinking. And what's funny is Replay Real did what I was thinking about doing if Jamar Chase was available to me at 3. I was thinking I'd take Chase and Burrow in the first and third round, and he ended up doing it. So that left Allen for me, which is, I'm certainly happy with. I'm okay with Flowers in the fourth round. I do like, I love his draft though. Chase, Burrow, and RJ Harvey. I was looking at him. I was going to do the loop around thinking Harvey would get to me in the 5th round. He just didn't, unfortunately. I'm happy with Egbuka in the 6th round. I would have taken Kelsey there, but I got sniped by the Swami. So I'm okay with that. And going back to tight ends where I missed out on Kelsey, I wanted to make sure that I had at least some mid-range guys. So I took, Kincaid in the 8th, and I took the little bit of a flyer on it was like pick your poison, with which rookie which rookie tight end do you want? So I was really thinking about Loveland, but I ended up going with Warren there. And it seemed, lo and behold, I got Swift and Burden with the Bears. I actually really like their offense this year. So We'll see what happens there, and then then it's just a matter of filling out the roster at the end of the draft. So
yeah, I definitely think Lockett was. To go towards the end of the draft and get Tyler Lockett. I know he's not the same Tyler Lockett we know for most of his career, but he's the clear number 2 wide receiver there for the Titans there. So, to get a starting wide receiver there at the end of the draft, not even the number 3 guy there, I think that's a great pick up there. When we talk about value.
Well, I appreciate that, Jason. I was just looking for value there, and I figure he's such a great route runner that Cam Ward's going to need that. So hopefully he'll get something. And again, he was my 5th wide receiver taken.
Absolutely.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, he's going to fill in where he can. I know it's a little controversial taking the second quarterback in this league, but, I like C.J. Stroud. He's always been, I took him last year. He was disappointed a little bit, but as a second quarterback, can't be unhappy with that when Allen has his bye in week 7. So overall, absolutely. I like the draft. Sometimes I'll go with the second defense or the second kicker. I said, screw that this year. I didn't want to do that. So I like my draft. I actually like my draft this year more than the last couple of years, to be honest with you. So.
Oh, nice. No, I think it's a real solid draft. From top to bottom there. Egbuka, you spoke about before the season began. I was like, all right, how's this all going to shake off? But you got the Jalen McMillan injury after he took that bad hit in this last preseason game. Chris Godwin's not 100%. This guy, the talent was never the question. It was just like 4 different starting caliber wide receivers. How's it shake out? But now it looks like that's not even a question. He's out there with Mike Williams week 1. And so I think to get him there in the 6th, Zay Flowers, the number 1 in Baltimore, seems to always be underestimated value there. And then Jackson Smith-Njigba is now the number 1 in Seattle. So, you got three guys there that are massive talents, and then great value later on that wide receiver position. And I'm probably focusing more on that wide receiver because I feel like that's probably my biggest concern when we look at my roster. So great draft there, Cam.
Then we should get together and work a trade, because I think other than Barkley, my running backs are a little bit weak. I think that's the problem in a draft like this, or any draft for that matter. You get the top stud or one of the top 2 or 3 studs at a certain position, and then you sort of forget about the position. And I think I did that with running back, thinking, okay, I got Barkley tied up. Let's focus on everything else. And then before you know it, it's like, oh, geez, I got to actually look at some of these running backs, because, again, 14 teams, they go quick, and then you have to wait a long time before you can get to the next guys.
Absolutely. Great take.
All right, Cam, I appreciate you, and we'll see you on the articles for the season, my friend.
Absolutely. Fun as always, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Cam's not wrong, man, and that's why it's so hard to draft on the wheel or in the first spot in these leagues, because like it's 20 plus picks. I mean, it takes forever to roll back around, which is, it always feels like you're reaching. But if you're looking at your draft board and there's somebody you like 15, 18 places in front of where you're at, you just got to take them now, which is what happened with me with, a couple of these guys is you look at them and go, man, I like him, but he's not making it 28 picks around.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just gotta, you gotta do it. You gotta take it. All right, let's wait. First news before we bring Heat on. I'm gonna bring him on, but before we get talking to him, Jayson, I just saw a little score update because I finally opened my phone, and my Tigers beat the shit out of the Astros, 10-0. Just gotta throw that out there.
Oh wow,
that's what's up.
I don't think I've watched baseball in a couple of years, but
that's what's up.
Kudos to the Tigers.
Kudos to the Tigers. I love it.
Man.
All right, wild man. Take us through your team.
Tigers, man. Erie Seawolves, back-to-back champion, double-A champion, Eastern League champion, Erie Seawolves. And you don't think that doesn't have some kind of success that's rolling off with Detroit right now? I mean, I don't know. Don't mind my computer. Anyway, all right, guys. So, you see, at this point, why I went with St. Brown is because I knew I could get Nakua, but I knew that nobody would take Kyron Williams on the wheel. So therefore, I wanted to differentiate from the Rams, go from that route, and then come back with that. That's why I did that round. What did you guys think about that? Did you get that?
I can barely hear you. I could barely hear what you were saying. Go ahead.
All right. Sometimes this thing just gets crazy on me. I don't know why. So what I'm saying is why I picked Amon-Ra St. Brown is because that I knew that Puka was right there, but I knew that nobody would pick Kyron Williams coming back around. So I knew that I could get 2 alphas in it, 2 different offenses at the same time and then bring it back. I know that there's Gibbs. Believe me, I know there's Gibbs. So that is why I went with that turn. Instead of doing the Nakua Irving, I went St. Brown and then Williams.
I mean, you're lucky, man. I almost went 2 of the 3 running backs that went right there at 2, 3, 4, and 5 instead of my guys, and then you'd have been in trouble.
Well, then I would have also had, there's like so much more neighbors like McConkey. I was looking, so for mine, I was actually looking at St. Brown and Collins. So in a lot of drafts, because you know that I do a lot of drafts with the Get Right crew, and at a lot of drafts, I've been able to run that double in from the 9, the 10 position. I was able to run that same double, I think from the 7 position as well too. But mostly I've been drafting 6 because that's what it's for some reason, that's what nobody likes. So I went with that because I knew they would come back around. I took a chance, but I had a lot. But when I got to Kyron Williams, I didn't like Jacobs like nobody else. I love Drake London, but I had to have the Todd Gurley playbook. I am just sold on that. And that is what puts Williams above Taylor, Achane, and because Achane's brittle, and then amongst everybody else. Now, when I was coming back around, I would have liked like A.J. Brown. I knew that he wasn't going to make it, and Harrison at the same time wasn't going to be able to come through. So when it got to me, it really came down to Tano, and Tano does get this. if Jackson would have been there, I may have taken Jackson, but because he was not, I took Connor and said, if Daniels or Hurts makes it back around, I'm going to take me an alpha quarterback. Because if I don't, Kyler Murray was the next pick. And then my backup to Kyler Murray was Brock Purdy. So what do you think about that so far?
I mean, Jason hates Brock Purdy. I'll tell you that.
He says I hate him.
Not a fan. He's not a fan.
My question is, like I like what you did with your draft here. Now you went 4 running backs in the draft, and so is there any concern with you going with just 4? With Kyron Williams having Blake Corum behind him, James Conner, your top 2 guys having Trey Benson behind him. So two second-year guys that could eat into those workloads those year. And I think you waited 6 rounds before you got that third back, Ramondre Stevenson, who's also sharing that backfield with the rookie. And then who's that last one? Austin Eckler?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So
any concerns there with your backfield?
Well, of course, because I was going to take Benson, and if I look right there, it was right there, right after Tootin, Benson went. Benson was my pick before Chris Godwin. I was taking Benson right there because I believe in handcuffing, so, but because I couldn't handcuff, and then after that, I was like, all right, well, then I'm going to do this. And then, of course, it was like I had Algier target. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to hit Corum. I already saw him. And then I looked for that. I was like, all right, he's gone. So you know what? I'm ditching out. I'm going to go pick if the rookie cannot defend the quarterback, right? Like people just are thinking that Henderson's going to come in and be able to block the scheme, NFL scheme. And he's going to do that, right? For a team that nobody thinks is going to do well. Although their defense will be surprising to a lot of people. So mark that word. But at the same time, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to run Stevenson at times. You're going to have to keep him in there. You're going to have to keep him in there for pass blocking. And they showed last year that they did involve him in the passing game. So for me, where Henderson's going, I'd rather have almost anybody around that. And I would take the chance with Stevenson late in the draft rather than pay all of that for a rookie who may not be in there on the passing downs or a pass blocking situation where the quarterback protected is needed. And everybody loves Drake May, but if he's on his ass, then he can't do shit.
I really like what you did with the wide receivers there. You got talent there in your first 4, and then you came back and got value with 2 vet guys that are studs that might not be ready at the start of the season, but it's not if, but when they return. And I mean, those are guys that would go several rounds earlier if they were healthy. So I think you hedged your bets there with getting the talent early and then adding those guys. So it made completely sense for you to add both of those guys in Brandon Ayuk and also Chris Godwin.
So let me ask you a question, guys. We got heat here taking Devonta Smith all the way down in the 5th round, pick 510. If you listen to Doc's very low on this guy, right? He says the Eagles don't throw the ball enough. They don't throw the ball in the red zone. When they throw the ball in the red zone, it's running back dump off. It's Goddard. And he's a little down on him. I mean, I have a chance for him, and he's on a couple of dynasty squads. Doc has told me all offseason to trade him. But I feel like in a 14-team league, dropping down to 510 is a little bit low, a little bit crazy for Devonta Smith.
Well, also he went back and got value in case if Doc is right. Let's say if Doc is right, I mean, getting Stephon Diggs as late as he did, I mean, that's going to be your top guy there for the Patriots offense. And Debo's the question mark, I think. Is he motivated there in the new city? He's got a capable quarterback, but I think all the wide receiver as he has balances out any questions you have with the other one there. So I think the Diggs really bolsters the value in getting Devontae Smith that late. And then with Terry McLaurin, I think he ends up staying in Washington, but with all this time he's missed in camp, I mean, that's just you're begging for an injury there or a late start with lacking chemistry. And I think all that bolsters Debo's value.
And that's the thing. And people forget about that. They did pay Debo to come here. He's there. So you don't think that, you think that Robinson, you think that Eckler, and that's why, I threw in Eckler late. You don't think that these guys aren't going to get the ball? Jaden Daniels get the ball. So who's going to get the ball? Couple injuries. But one thing we do know, Deebo Samuel is involved in all aspects of the game. Blocking, he's involved in passing, of course, and running. He may not be needed to run, but he's still a problem. Can you think about if Deebo and Daniels lined up back to back and ran a wishbone or a student body right or a toss option? Like, you're like, if I don't get Daniels, he's gone. Do I want to tackle Deebo? So he is the question mark. And that's practically was like, all right, that's what I did when I was like, all right, I'm going to grab Deebo and I'm going to grab Diggs. Because again, at this point of the draft, after grabbing Smith, which I know everybody's down with Smith, I don't like him either. Unless A.J. Brown misses a game, they don't do anything unless chuck it to him. But at this point of the draft, as you were bringing up, I trust him on a Super Bowl team with a quarterback to be paired with than any of those guys. Waddle, injured. I don't like Miami. One Tua, dumb move, and he's out for the rest of the season, and we don't need that crap, right? And then I'm just looking at the rest of it. DJ Moore, questions. Rookie, Pollard, Dunze. Look, I already had a quarterback. Swift was my option if he made it to me. Knew he wasn't. I don't want any of those guys. I'd rather take a guy on a team that's the defending champions that has a pathway to success rather than just take a gamble with some people that just did all that. That's just my opinion. I know it. It's very bold. But at the same time, I knew that I would have to come back to it. I was sharked in this. Like everybody's about Krosky. How's Krosky going to get the ball if Deebo Samuel's getting the ball, right? I don't know. That's just me.
I love it, Heat. We love you. We appreciate you. I have one question, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Yes.
Okay? Travis Hunter, if you can get IDP and wide receiver stats for him, where do you take him in an IDP league? Number one? You just take him number one?
Dude, that was really close. So I had that wonder, but you cannot take Travis Hunter number one. He is going to get a little work on both sides of the ball. That gives you a good medium, right? But if you're in an IDP league, why wouldn't you take someone like Zaire Franklin? Why wouldn't you take just Roquan Smith? Them guys average 15 to 20 every week. It doesn't matter what the offense is going to be. But there's way too many, which is why I brought up Dimey Brown. People are forgetting about Dimey Brown. But Hunter in an IDP league, that credits deflected passes. That's big for him. Interceptions, of course, because that's going to be anywhere from 2 to 4 points anymore. Interceptions are getting up there with sacks almost. So if you're looking at the bonuses and things like that, that some leagues like Sleeper has, it only makes Travis Hunter's value grow. So would you take him 1-1? Hell no. But would you take him around the 3rd or 4th round in an IDP? That is really a question. This was the 4th round going towards the 4th to the 5th rep. It's a perfect pick, honestly, in an IDP league. This early for a guy that got Dimey Brown, for a guy that's got Travis Etienne, for a guy that's got Tootin, for a guy that's got Trevor Lawrence trying to sneak touchdowns in too. Do we forget about those things? That's why we don't like Trevor Lawrence, right? So we got all these people and Brian Thomas Jr., what everybody's saying about Brian Thomas Jr., I agree with. He is the week 1 DFS hero along with Jamar Chase. If you do not put Brian Thomas Jr. and Jamar Chase in your DFS lineup in week 1, there's something wrong with you. You are going to be really
awesome. Well, I appreciate you, Heat. We know you.
I'll give out one more pick. Up one more pick. This is a UFC pick. Zhang Ming Ying knocks out or subs Johnny Walker in this fight. Play the under, play the knockout and sub. And if you don't have the knockout and sub, because that's available on that, I'm telling you, Zhang is going to elbow the daylights out of this boy. And when he does it and knocks that big 6'6" dude out, y'all going to really know what Zhang Ming Ying is bringing to the UFC. Yeah.
Love it, buddy. We'll catch you soon, buddy. We'll see you out there.
All right. Take care.
All right, Jason. One last thing, and I'm going to let you and Lou go. How about that?
All right, sounds good.
We're gonna quit sharing this. Where's my share button? We're gonna share a different screen. I think. Can I make it work?
I want to ask a question. You know how most fantasy leagues, you get like on field goals over 30 yards, you get 3 points, over 44, over 55. With Cam taking Little from Jacksonville and he hit a 70-yarder in the preseason, is he going to get 7 points?
No, the rule in the Dr. Roto Staff League is if a kicker kicks 70 or more, you just win your matchup.
That should be it. I mean, if you're kicking 70-yard field goals and you drafted that guy, it's over.
So one of my favorite things in fantasy football now, and it's something that I hadn't seen in leagues until fairly recently, is instead of the 30 plus 3, 40 plus 4, it's now exact length. So if someone kicks a 22-yard field goal, they get 2.2. If someone kicks a 57-yarder, 5.7, et cetera, et cetera.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I don't spend a lot of time, I'll be honest, on the settings for this league because we play for honor and the points are made up or something like that.
Nice.
I have some questions for you guys. Can we scroll a little bit through the remaining players?
Okay. Yeah,
and if you can see it, right? Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can pull them up on your own screen as well, but you can look at the shared screen. Is there anybody in here worthy of keeping an eye on or perhaps churning a spot of somebody that you just maybe made a mistake drafting? Just in general.
Douglas. Yeah, Pop Douglas. A Concord you can make a case for, but you also have Gunnar Helm there, but they're so thin at wide receiver. I like Ayermanner that you drafted. I think I think he bumps Van Jefferson from the top 3. Mm-hmm. But even with having Gunnar Helm there at tight end, Okonkwo is definitely a guy that's going to contribute.
No love for Zach Ertz?
I think people are thinking about with the age and everything. There's so much tight end talent. I mean, Jatavion Sanders was still there. Cole Kmet is a guy that I just think everybody is just forgetting about. Keep scrolling down. Jatavion Sanders we talked about.
Cade Otton
Theo Johnson too. Theo Johnson could be very interesting as well.
Yeah. Look, I mean, a lot of the tight ends. You got
bold take, boys. Bold take. Isaiah Likely outscores Mark Andrews this year.
Ooh, okay, I like it. Another guy I like, but I'm not surprised he didn't get drafted because you got 3 wide receivers there ahead of him in Indy, and plus you don't know how the quarterback play is going to be. But Adonai Mitchell's a guy I had a mid-first round grade on. I actually had him graded higher than Brian Thomas Jr. coming out last year. So I might look foolish, or maybe it's just took a year for him to get to him. I love Adonai Mitchell's talent. It's just got to all click for him.
So Josephus had a couple of key games last year. Does he build on last year? Or does he get forgotten?
They've got Jermaine Burton there, who's got so much talent, but it's between the ears for him. And if he can't just flip that switch this year and mature on and off the field, then Josephus is still going to be a contributor. But you also have got a 2 tight end set of Mike Gesicki and Noah Fant.
I still like Turpin in Dallas. I think that, given the right injury, he could see the passes. And he's a hell of a return man. So if you get return bonuses, Turpin, I think, is a guy that could fill out the bottom of a roster for you.
That speed is legit.
Yeah. And Quentin Johnson, I mean, that dude had some games last year. He just can't stay healthy.
I like the 2 rookies. You bring Keenan back. You got Ladd McConkey eating all of it. There's Adonai Mitchell, Jermaine Burton, 2 guys we just mentioned. This guy just.
What do you think about Fannin? Doc's a big Fannin fan for Dynasty, at least, but maybe not this year, but a good Dynasty.
Well, you've got, I guess, with Flacco, he's got a little value. With the other quarterbacks, I'm not sure how much value you have there. Another guy on that list that I've talked a lot about, Ray McLeod. With Darnell Mooney banged up, Ray just had the best year of his entire career, and nobody's even talking about it in Atlanta. Mooney's banged up. Ray, if Mooney misses time, that's your number 2 wide receiver there. They've got a bunch of young guys who haven't proven anything in the NFL that the local Falcons fans really buying the stock. Casey Washington, a lot of guys that stepped up in the preseason. But as far as vets, Ray McLeod, like found a fit there with the Falcons.
Hey, Lou, let me ask you a question about Ray McCloud. You edited most of my articles last year for DFS. How many times did that dude show up in my picks?
Yeah, he was definitely a tipsy pick.
Like 3,500 every single week, and he gets return touchdowns, So
and I mean, it's really hard to imagine a lot of the Falcons. Maybe not Drake London, although I love Drake London. A lot of them, I think, are going to be better with Penix than they were with Cousins. And I know there's some concerns about Penix, but Cousins was just absolutely dreadful last season. So they have to all take a step up, you would think. And like Jason mentioned, even if Mooney's not injured, McLeod still has a role. But if Mooney's not playing, that's a big opportunity. And I know very divisive guy in Kyle Pitts. At some point, you got to think he's going to figure things out. Mm-hmm. But maybe he doesn't. And maybe McLeod ends up getting even more targets than you think.
It's a contract year for Pitts. Money speaks. A lot of these guys get motivated when money's on the line. And, I mean, you've got Bijan Robinson, Drake London. But after that, Kyle Pitts, even with me mentioning Ray McCloud, Kyle Pitts is probably going to be that third option underneath that Penix is looking for this year. I think he has a breakout year. Parker Washington is right there on the list that we talked about early in the show on your list there.
Or Wilson as handcuffs? I mean, Wilson did absolutely nothing, but he didn't get the opportunity. But he had some hype coming into training camp last year as a possible, handcuff in Green Bay, but we didn't really get to see it, and I don't really know where they stand behind Chase Brown in Cincinnati, to be honest.
Yeah, you got Samaje Perine. You have the rookie Taj Brooks. There's nothing there to get excited about. Samaje Perine will have a depth role, but Burrow's already come out and said they want to feed Chase Brown a lot. And Burrow's saying that, I mean, you might as well go ahead and print it. It's fact. As far as who'd you say before? Since Green Bay with Jacobs. I love my top two rookie running backs last year before the draft were Blake Corum and Marshawn Lloyd. I just wrote about Marshawn Lloyd yesterday. The guy I call him Mr. Glass. I mean, no insult to him, but every time he touches the fields in the pro, he gets injured. He's got immense talent, but he can't stay healthy. So to your point, Emmanuel Wilson is that guy that if you've got Josh Jacobs, you might as well go ahead and look at Emmanuel Wilson as that addition as well.
There's our boy Tucker that we were talking about during the draft.
Sean Tucker, absolutely. I think he'll have a better rushing season than Rachaad White this year. A lot of tight ends on this list. But I guess that can be expected even with a 14-team league. Most people going one, maybe two tight ends.
And honestly, though, Jason, I mean, the depth of tight end talent has absolutely exploded over the last few years. I mean, it used to be there was 5 or 6 tight ends and everybody else was a crapshoot. Now there's 20 guys that produce.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No, love it. All right, we'll let you get out of here, guys. I just thought we'd take a stroll down the last few people and just take a look.
All right, that sounds good. Hey, guys, I enjoyed it. Great job from everybody tonight. It was an absolute pleasure to do this. Look forward to seeing the league, see where we were right and see where we were wrong.
Absolutely. I love it. Lou, what do you got to plug? I know we did a little earlier. What do you and Doc got coming up?
I mean, we still are hammering out tons of content for football. Of course, we still have all our baseball stuff as well. And still, promo code WIN. It was so popular to end July that we extended it for the first 2 weeks at least in August. So promo code WIN on any of those subscription packages.
I see all the the contact forms that come through, and I would say our two most asked for question is I can't figure out how to get into Discord, and please can I have that discount code again?
Yeah, definitely. You're right.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Lou, thanks for hanging out with Jason and I, and go get them this year, bud.
Thanks for having me, brother. I'll see you soon.
All right, bye.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.